All right. Yeah, it's a slow start. So basically today's supposed to be the public live stream, but I'm gonna let the internet play for a little while. Will be like this, and then I'll switch it over to public if it straightens up. So yesterday we got the ISM manufacturing, and it's all over Twitter. People are talking about it, and there's even a couple YouTube videos out there talking about it. ISM and Bitcoin's chart closely resemble one another if you overlay them both, but here's the thing. ISM is not what's causing the markets to be bearish. So a good ISM print can obviously be good for Bitcoin long term for the longer term investors, but it didn't really have any effect on price at all yesterday, as Bitcoin stayed trading as an inside day. I mean, it was an outside day to the downside early, but I mean, basically you made a double top, right? You made a double top up there. We did ultimately see hype break out yesterday. That's what we thought would happen, especially if it didn't give us that move down here yesterday. So I do believe Bitcoin could potentially find support here. You've got a daily support right here at 76,888. You've got a double bottom down here for this year's low and last year's low. You did not liquidate last year's low. So this could be a downside target in the future. The POCs look like the sellers are trying to push it back down lower. I do like that we have currently the monthly and weekly VWAPs. Now, obviously, they are only separated by 1 day. So both of these averages only have 1 day of separation between them two. So really and truly, you could just look at the monthly as you just got that monthly open. Obviously, monthly open is holding as potential resistance. As of right now, you're building in higher lows, but the bell is going to happen in 30 minutes, so that lower low could happen then. If price has trouble aggregating under daily support, I will throw a long out there solely based on the fact that ISM was yesterday and it was good print. Now, with that being said, I haven't taken any trades today, so I have a full on 3 stops I can eat. I'm not going to force the issue hard. Simply what I mean by that is I'm going to pick my place, if you will. Yeah, I mean, it's just for a longer term hold. I don't think that the bottom is in. We don't have any evidence to suggest that the bottom is in. So there's that, right? Let me click settings up to 4K output so that way, hopefully it's not too spinny or laggy. If we can do 5, if it can hold 5 for more than 5 minutes, then I'll just hit the public stream. I'll turn it to public. Let me go ahead and go up to 5. Because it feels bad when I only do 2 public live streams a week. And people do watch them, so, wait. Give me 1 second. Settings. Output. Let's go on up to 5 kbps. I'm pushing it. Hold. Oh yeah, that's where she lets off. 5. Okay, so we'll go back down to 4. And just see if it can hold 4. If it can hold 4, good. I think 4 is fine. Apply. All right, so me bumping it up to 5 kind of screwed it. So dropping a few frames here, but if we can hold 4, we can stream. We can go live. Because I think 4 doesn't make it too spinny on your end. Tony the Fish is in the hizzy. What's up, buddy? Nvidia rejected yesterday. Somehow I got stopped out. I know I entered the trade down in here, but I thought I had a wide enough stop not to get stopped out. That's weird because ultimately it did break down yesterday. Longer term on Nvidia, this is what we got. We got higher lows. Okay. So here's your monthly open right here. Here's your yearly open right here on Nvidia. This is what I love the most about the setup, right? We did break down below the yearly open early on into the year. We did get that move. We did put in lower lows. That was good. But then it retraced all the way back up to the yearly open. It took 2 days retesting that yearly open before it rejected, breaking down, taking out these lows, and setting the yearly low. So far, it has reclaimed all of that, aggregated back up, held under. This right here would have been a warning sign for us had we shorted it here. Right? Obviously, we would have wanted to take profits on this down move. We would have been scaling out. And then we most likely would have been looking at this, not liking it because it's revisiting the yearly opening range within just a few days. And then here's the break and then boom. But what does it do here? This is why I like it, right? What did it do here? It liquidated the year high. The year high is this wick right there. So there was your liquidation, and what was the market's response? Let's draw a white line on that liquidation point. This was the market's response. It rejected, tested support, gapped down through the night. Yesterday spent literally all day, and then boom. So here's what I think. I think this morning, if you get a spike up on Nvidia, I think you should be able to take a short on that. 189.84 is our line in the sand. If you're trading or aggregating higher than 189.84, there is a potential to run up to 193.62. So if you want to take that trade via options, via futures, via stock, via shares, however, I don't care. But that's what we're looking at. On the open, I want to see it push up. I don't want to see it push up all the way to the yearly open. I just want to see a wick up, as that gives us an opportunity to enter closer to the yellow line. And then today, obviously, I want to see it break below this trend. If this trend builds in a multi-day support, Nvidia is going higher. It's not going lower. Okay? So we can take one more shot on this, anticipating an August open retest. Remember, if we look at this on the daily time frame, it's literally situationed perfectly for an exponential moving average retest. Course. Because internet speeds are bad, I can't pull up my tools. Oh, here we go. Got it. Beautiful. I don't know why I dimmed them. We should just leave them bright, dude. Just leave them bright. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Tesla. No, it was. Okay. Yeah, so if we break down below this trend line, we have a 181 potential retest of the 100 exponential. It looks like it's losing steam up here, right? So we need to break down. We need to take these lows out. If we do take those lows out, we could be in for a larger move below the 100 down to the 200. So that's what we're looking for on Nvidia right here. Okay? That's an Nvidia set. And Bitcoin is, if it can hold the daily support, we'll look to be a buyer there. There's nothing to do anywhere else. Zcash is massively oversold. You're also printing divergence here. You don't have a lower, yes you do, that was a lower close. So you do have divergence. You don't have a lower low, but you have a lower close, and that's what counts as divergence. So you already have bullish divergence here. One could arguably look for a potential long on Zcash, but it would be a counter trend trade. Therefore, you could get stopped out much quicker. How does the stream look to you guys in the comment section? Does it look good? Does it look solid? Are you spinning up? Is it spinning on your side of the internet connection? Is it like hard to watch, laggy? Is everything good? Let me know in the chat. And if so, if it's holding good, I think we could just beam it out to the public, and at least they'll know what I'm looking for this morning. If the stream falls off, then boom, they know what they're looking for today. I need a confirmation in the chat. Looks good to me. Good enough. Let's do it. Here we go. Stream settings. I want to make it public. Public. Done. Save. Boom. Changes. Save. We'll share the link. Give me 1 second. Publicly get the link out. Not just link to the stream. Boom, and then there. Here we go. And then let's go into Brandon's server. We're gonna raid Brandon's server, dropping a link there as well. There we go. All right, perfect. All right. So for anybody just joining us, hopefully it's public, or at least public enough in YouTube lets everybody know that it is live. Basically what we're watching this morning, first and foremost, is we're looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks very weak. It looks very pathetic here. We got a nice number on the ISM manufacturing yesterday. It was up at 52.6. A lot of people have compared the ISM charts to Bitcoin long term, and people think that it's the business cycle. First and foremost, ISM is not the only indicator that makes up the business cycle. However, Bitcoin does correlate nicely to the ISM. Did have a nice print. It did get back above 50. So if that's going to have a positive effect on Bitcoin, technically Bitcoin is setting at potentially support here. You've got a daily close yesterday, or prior daily close, at $76,888. You also have the new February open acting as resistance, but also more importantly, I think, would be the fact that the volume weighted average price for the month of February is resting nicely below price, as you can see here with the blue average. The green average is the weekly. There's only one day that separates those two volume weighted average prices. That's why there's a slight discrepancy. We're going to ignore it. We're going to focus on daily support. We get a tag down here, and if price can build in support here during the New York session this morning, then we could potentially take a very mitigated risk long down here and see what happens. It is counter trend. Anytime you're taking a trade that is counter trend, you must be quick to take profits when you get the move in your direction, because it's counter trend. It can come back in a day or two and stop you out, right? It could spend a lot of time down here building in support. This will be day number 3. I would not count this day as a support test. This is an absolute meltdown that occurred on Saturday, a low liquid day. So that is also why you've seen such a massive move. Bitcoin at one point was down almost 8% on this day. That's ridiculous on a weekend. Sunday it did nothing. It stayed inside Saturday's range. Monday we came out, we set new lows, but then traded away from those lows. setting a double bottom from the 2025 low and now your current 2026 low. So you do have a double bottom, and this double bottom did not liquidate 2025's low. So whenever there is a double bottom and price is aggregating just slightly above that double bottom, we have to be concerned that a liquidation move could happen, right? You could see price aggregate lower to liquidate this double bottom. So I'm quite aware that daily support is above that area, but if price is not weak enough to get and trade below daily support and spend much time under it, then that's where I want to fire that risky long position off at. Secondly, yesterday during the members only live stream, we were focused on hype. Bitcoin got destroyed all week last week, and hype was up all week last week. Hype was literally one of the only cryptocurrencies that we watch that was up last week. And it was not only up last week, it was up big last week. It was up over 50% at one point. Now, we were anticipating that weakness could also play out through hype. However, we were very concerned with it yesterday. So we did take a short up here when it liquidated this swing high. We put that short on. We did get a slight move in our direction. We did not take profits. We ate a stop. Actually, we closed the trade before we ate the stop because the intraday price action was not working out the way I wanted it to. And because we had been making higher daily lows, I posted it on Twitter. If the breakout happens, I would not be interested in a short. As you can see now in hindsight, obviously the breakout happened. So I am no longer interested in a short. Now, if hype wants to give us a swing high failure pattern up here and get back down under daily res, then we will look at yesterday's breakout as a bull trap and then potentially set up for shorts. So what we're looking at, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but on the Weeks platform, they have brought over stocks and their perpetual futures swap contracts. That means for anybody that has low funds, you do not have to worry about the pattern day trader rule anymore. That literally means you can trade all of the stocks that they offer on exchange. They offer Coinbase, Apple, Nvidia, MicroStrategy, Tesla, Amazon, Oracle, Palantir, Reddit. I don't know what FUTU is, and I don't know what DFDV is, but Meta, Google, SPY, which is the S&P 500. They also offer the QQQ. These are futures contracts. They are very thinly traded right now because not many people know they exist. You can also trade gold, silver, palladium, and this one, which the name platinum. Sorry, palladium and platinum. Those are the two also. These were just added yesterday. So this is new. So it will get more liquid. As more and more time goes on, more and more people will be aware that they can trade stocks with a very small account, and they can take as many entries as their little hearts desire. That will be very attractive to a lot of people. They no longer have to take bets in the options market when the options market is generally slated against you because of IV. That IV, whenever it's jacked up, if you're trying to day trade with options on a high implied volatility options contract, even if you're right on direction, you can still lose money. This is different. It trades like a futures. They take their fee from you, and then if you're right on direction, you make money. So it's new. I'm letting everybody know about it because it's new. It does sound like an advertisement, but it ain't really, but it kind of is. If you want to save money on the fees you may pay if you sign up to Weeks, it is non-KYC. All you need to do is use the link, put an email in, a password, and send Tether to the wallet they provide to you, and you can trade stocks, you can trade S&P, you can trade NASDAQ, you can trade Nvidia, all these things, Tesla, all the favorites. So we're going to take advantage of that now on this channel, and that means we're definitely going to be analyzing these things. So Nvidia is giving us a setup right here. I've already did this on the unlimited portion of this video, not public portion of the video. My internet connection is really slow. It could be the terrible weather. It's been freezing, below freezing here in southeast Florida for the past 3 days in a row. So maybe my fiber connection is froze up. I don't know. That's why we did it, for the community first, just to test the water, see if the connection was good enough, strong enough. People said it was, so we made the stream public, because we do go public live Tuesdays and Thursdays at the New York Open. And that's what we're doing. So this morning, Bitcoin is what I'm watching for potential long setup. It is against the trend or counter trend. So it is not the perfect setup, not even a good setup, to be honest with you, compared to how weak Bitcoin has been lately, but it is a setup nonetheless. Now, the other setup that we're looking at is NVIDIA. And there is a narrative as to why we're looking at this setup. Technical analysis does work. It's about risk mitigation that decides whether or not you are profitable in the long run. But here we go. NVIDIA opened up the year right here, and it has been chopping sideways. You did set fresh lows. So right through here, the trend was weak. You made a lower high here and then a lower low there. So you were trending down. NVIDIA then went up, retested the yearly opening range, was rejected, put in this lower move and set the yearly low. The fact that it came back to the yearly open really quickly is not generally good for a weak asset. We want those lower highs and lower lows to continue into the future if the setup is a sell, right? So the fact that it came back, not that great. However, all it did was liquidated the prior year high. So you liquidated 2026's high, and then what happened after is what's so important. After you liquidated or made a fresh 2026 yearly high, you rejected strongly. It took all of 1 day to liquidate and reject all the way back down to the yearly open. Pre-market last night, you gapped down, came up and spent all day retesting this level yesterday. Oh shit, sorry, thank you. Sorry. So right here's all that, right? Here's where you were making fresh lows on the year. Here's where you came back, liquidated the year high right there. That's a liquidation. You rejected that year high and then rejected down back below the yearly open. Spent all day yesterday, all morning retesting it. It failed. Near the end of the session, you've seen NVIDIA collapse, setting a higher low. It is a higher low because this is your yearly low. So as of right now, this is just another higher low. If this pattern persists into the future, most likely NVIDIA, as long as the S&P stays strong, will most likely make fresh year highs. However, this level gives us an opportunity, because we did see that fresh year high and an instant rejection, thus telling us that people were taking profits. We don't know if this was a big enough move to cause more buyers to show up. Time will tell us that. We're not wizards. We can't predict the future. However, we do have a beautiful short setup here. The best setup, obviously, was yesterday. However, we think there's still a setup in here today. If NVIDIA stays aggregating under 189.84, I think you can be short NVIDIA. This is going to be your line in the sand simply because you do have those higher lows. Now, if we're right, NVIDIA may go on to make lower yearly lows later on in the month. That would be great. That would be trade well done, right? Boom, boom, boom. Like it. Love it. We'll see if it happens. But yesterday I did take the trade on the futures account up there on weeks, the screen that you were stuck on, and I did not even know. Apologies. Yeah, I got stopped out of it somehow, so obviously my stop was too close to where my entry was. I'm looking to take that entry again. I can take that entry literally almost anywhere in this space. I could even take that entry right here. If the New York Open happens, it trades up, not super high, just up a little bit above the pre-market high or post-market high, which is right there. You've already done that, so it might not need to go back up. Because it's a futures contract, we can take it right now. We don't need to wait on the bell. Waiting on the bell might be the best thing to do, simply because it's pre-market. When the bell rings, you get a lot of volatility. But if you look at the 4-hour chart up here, it looks good for the short setup. You're making lower highs and resistance is holding. Now, the way I teach technical analysis, this would have been the best entry if you did not get all the way up to the prior 4-hour swing high. So 4-hour res is where your short entry could be. Hypothetically, stop somewhere up in here. I leave that up to you. It's your decision where you place your stop, how much risk you use. As of right now, because there aren't many people trading on this right now, you can see there's literally only 67,000 contracts traded in the last 24 hours. That's relatively similar to what we saw yesterday. Okay? But you can short it, and you might not get filled on limit as easily, and you can't take a massive position size. Right now, they're only allowing you to trade, I think, like 15 contracts. You can see here that this order book is not very active. Could also be my internet connection, right? But this will get better in the future. I promise. This will get a lot better. It will be more active. It doesn't really matter if NVIDIA, the stock price drops, this will go with it. Okay? If NVIDIA is bullish, then you will eat a stop. It's as simple as that. Now, I've jacked my leverage up because on this product, you can trade with up to 50x leverage right now. Once liquidity becomes better in the future, I assume this will probably get higher because there are a lot of cryptocurrencies on this platform that you can literally trade up to 400x leverage. So right now they're trying to keep things simple. So it's early. It will get better in the future. So I'm not going to go with 50x. I'm just going to go with 40x. And the max position size, like I said, is 16. So with that much, hang on, with that much, let's see if we can fill this. With that much, okay, it didn't go through. Here, let me refresh just to make sure everything's on the up and up. I'm gonna go in with market, and it's probably going to, okay, it did fill, but it hasn't filled all of it. It's only going to be about a $70 position size. Like I said, right now they're limiting, it's new, they're limiting what you can do. So I'll go in with a market order, and I can go up to 16, so I'll do 1548. I want to open a short right there, and then boom, you saw that, I saw it, we all saw it. It's okay. It's a terrible fill, I get it. There's your fees. Yeah, it's not much, right? Not bad. And here's the thing, because it's a small position, I can set in this thing with a little bit of pain. I would much rather be filled up here, but that's the glory of a market order. Like I said, if this goes down, that up there will follow. Okay? All right, so that's that. We're going to be watching NVIDIA at the open to see if it wants to roll over. We got about 3 minutes to the bell. There really ain't a whole lot else to do. Tesla yesterday was retesting the January lows. It did liquidate. So that means yesterday at the bell, you did get a lower low tick, taking out all of the prior lows. Then it had a bounce. So we bought Tesla yesterday. It pushed up. I closed that trade out, made a little bit of money. Not a lot, a little bit. It is what it is for now. You don't need to trade it that way if you don't want to. If you want to use options or buy shares or sell shares, that's up to you. That's up to you. It just means, though, because it's offered on the platform, now we can analyze these things. We'll have more opportunities when there isn't necessarily an opportunity in the crypto market, but there's always an opportunity in the crypto market. I just mean an opportunity that we're not aware of, right? Because sometimes I'm not aware of something that is taking place. If you think there is a setup happening somewhere else, you can let me know. I don't want to be short Fartcoin, as it's literally oversold on the daily. It's oversold on everything. Like it's oversold. I don't necessarily want to buy an oversold market because it's oversold because it's weak. It's very weak because people are fear selling. They're selling. They're getting out. They're hitting the get me out button because they're afraid there's going to be more lows. You got uber bears out there like licking their chops, and they should be, as they have made quite a bit of money on Bitcoin lately, as Bitcoin has been retracing. It has retraced quite a lot. You literally went lower than last year's low, or you're right there ready to do it. So yeah, it's down. It's down on the year. It looks pretty bad, right? So bears have been right. They think they're going to continue to be right for the rest of their lives. They are sadly mistaken, most likely. So technical analysis can be used to absolutely help you get in and out when times are right. There are a few things that we look at that can absolutely help you. For instance, you take silver. If you remember last week, we were literally talking about silver, how adamant I was against anybody buying silver, specifically because of how over freaking bought it was. It was at record levels of overbought. Literally the worst case ever of being overbought. Just on one indicator, just looking at this one indicator, I knew I did not want to be a buyer on silver. I only wanted to be a seller. Now we can take advantage of that. Obviously, it's a little too late, as silver lost 30% already. It was a blow off top. I honestly think silver is going to slow down now, so there will be opportunities in the future to trade silver. So Nvidia is opening right on the bell and pushing. This is what we want to see. We want this pattern to repeat. We want to see it break below this trend line and continue into the future. And then Bitcoin at the bell, still chopping. So this is kind of a good look. I would love to see that continue. The point of controls for each day being here doesn't look great. It does look like the sellers are trying to push it lower, but as long as price is trading above daily support, they could be getting ready to see a squeeze, at least some kind of a, excuse me, I am burping while trying to talk at the same time. Getting an alert on Microsoft as well. Tesla's also pulling back a little bit here. The S&P had such a strong day yesterday. It did gap up. The cash market is gapping up. As you can see here, this is the SPX, the cash market from the ES futures. Basically, big strong day yesterday, taking out yesterday's or the Friday's high and closing above Friday's high. Today, you're gapping up. You've just liquidated Friday's high. So if Nvidia is weak today, if other markets are weak today, you could see the S&P pull back a little bit. Obviously, it's bullish, but people are going to try to short it nonetheless. DXY still trading inside yesterday's range. VIX had a massive retracement yesterday. It is now trading under 2025's yearly opening range. I'm more interested in what it does down here at 2026. 2025 is over and done with. So Tesla is actually having a pretty vicious day here, pulling back into February's open, which is yesterday's open. But still, I mean, if the buyers are here in Tesla, which they were yesterday, then we would want to see this end up being a higher low. If it does become a higher low, then we can look to be a buyer on Tesla moving forward. Nvidia also pushing down a little bit, kind of what we want to happen, so that's all good. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic day. What's up? Good morning. Stream looks good. Thank you. Good for now. Feels good for now. Good. Awesome. Awesome. Glad everybody's here. We don't see your main screen. I think you were correct. Keep me on the hook with that because I am terrible at YouTubing. Absolutely terrible at it. And I have a lot of screens in front of me, so I can get sidetracked very easily. All right, Nvidia is still pushing down. Nvidia is the biggest company in the S&P 500, so if Nvidia does have some weakness longer term, obviously that's going to pull the S&P down a little bit. And I'll keep Bitcoin on my other monitor so I can keep an eye on what's going on over there. As it is opened up a little bit weaker, it is testing intraday support. On Bitcoin, intraday support would simply be right here, where you closed the last 4-hour candle. So basically, we would want to see it just trade down to the low of this candle and hold. If you have a bullish bias, maximum low down here. I don't want to see it trading under 76,888. Otherwise, you're most likely heading to liquidate 74,434. And if it continues under that, it could get real bad real quick. Real bad real quick. Bitcoin's weekly 200 simple is... It's in here. I know it is. For some reason, it's not pulling up. My internet is upsetting me. Here, look. Well, here's Ethereum's 200. So there you go. There's your 200 week on Ethereum. Ethereum is currently trading under it. You're not far from doing that on Bitcoin. You almost tagged oversold thanks to that breakdown there. This is a breakdown. You did take out November's low. You did close the week under November's low. So any pullbacks into November's low will be met with sell side pressure, as your sellers are going to want to jump on the short, most likely there. So I don't know why the 200 week isn't pulling up. It says it's at 58. Oh, wow. It's way down there. Okay, that's why it's not pulling up. I wasn't way down far enough. So that's what I'm saying. Your 200 is way down here. Ethereum's testing its already. There could be a larger drop on Bitcoin with this breakdown. I don't want it to, but it don't really matter to me. I'm going to trade it nonetheless. It offers up a fantastic tradable opportunity. Also on your deltas, they are slightly negative here, which makes sense because price is slightly negative here. It's up on the day, but not by much. No, you're down on the day. Damn, I just keep coming out with these absolute wrong factual statements. Yeah, no, it is not up on the day. So Nvidia is already testing that level down there. We expect a bounce from here. I don't want it to retest the yearly open, but we do expect a slight bounce. It would be awesome if it just wants to blast right through that level, because it isn't really a large time frame objective level. It's going to be yesterday's low. That's all it is. So you have that. We were looking at this. If it is able to break down, we could see it break below this low down here eventually. As if you look at this, this is a trap. You are trading under last week's low, which kind of confirms it as a trap. We don't know that it will stay a trap in the future, right? That's what we don't know. But we do currently have a sell signal, so it can lead to more downside. In the future, when those futures contracts are trading more liquid and we're able to take normal size positions, that would have been a profit taking move right there on Nvidia. Absolutely, that was a pretty good size move. You dropped from 187 down to 183. So if you own 100 shares of that, you just made $5 per share. It's a $500 trade. That ain't a bad trade on Nvidia. And the futures, I love the fact that we'll be able to enter pre and post market too, because in the stock market, a lot of the moves happen pre and post market, right? Yeah, it's going to be an amazing, beautiful thing. I love it. I was so hyped when I learned about that Sunday. I've been trading on weeks for 2 years. every day. And I didn't notice that they had brought stocks over to the fray as well as the metals until yesterday. So it looked kind of rough. But like I said, it's not a sales pitch. It doesn't matter to me if you use the link or not. It's just if you want to use it, it'll save you 20% on fees, and it will get better in the future. Yeah, we were looking at Zcash to see if it's going to break down here. I'm not in it. Obviously, you're printing a little bit of bearish divergence here. This close is lower than that close, and it's just barely lower, but it is lower. And since your RSI is showing you that it's a higher close, basically you've got bearish divergence. There's not a lower low, and some people would rather see the lower low. I get it, but it doesn't have to make a lower low for that divergence to be real. The divergence happens because the indicator is an oscillator. It has to at some point diverge from price. Otherwise, it couldn't be an oscillator. It would just trend with price. So, yeah, that's what makes the divergence, not buyers. It's math. It's a simple math equation. But people take divergence as signals, right? And then that brings in some buyers. Zcash, I don't know if you're going to see those buyers show up because they did lose all of their core devs. That is why it's been getting absolutely nuked. But we basically we was on the thing all the way down to here. It's hard for me to sell an oversold market, and it's hard for me to buy one too, especially if the momentum is still very much on the sell side. So yeah, we'll see if it wants to act as divergence or not. You did get a slight spike on XMR, and it's now testing support. If the upside spike is going to continue, then I would say that I would want to see that level hold. You still got an hour and 19 minutes on this 4-hour candle. If it's closing below this one, then don't. It's probably not a buy, right? And Hype is seeing some profit taking happening still. Still not signaling a short trade. It could be a potential long, actually, if the squeeze is going to continue. I don't like to enter that trade as long as price is awesome, or as long as price is aggregating under that level. But if it refuses to close higher time frame candles below it, then we could potentially take the long scalp looking for an upside break. If there's a percentage there that is good, and there is, holy cow, that would be 8.33%. So a very nice trade if that did in fact occur. Yeah, the POC's okay here. The deltas are still more bullish than bearish. However, the strength that you had earlier in the session that made the breakout possible has subsided, right? You've seen more and more sellers showing up as time progressed. That could spur a lower move. So basically, you would want to see these lower deltas stop going lower. That would kind of confirm that the sellers aren't as aggressive as the buyers. But right now, while it's trending, it would be a dangerous long. It is still positive, meaning it's above the zero line, but that doesn't really matter. If the bears have control of price now, then they could get their lower move back down to this trend line, which was the breakout point. So you could keep this on watch, maybe give it 15, 20 minutes to see, what it does. Good morning. What's up? Good morning. Check pound dollar on monthly chart. Okay. Let's put you over here. Pound dollar. I have pound yen. We were looking at dollar yesterday. Wrong one. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so here, this is not pound yen or pound dollar. Let me pull that up for you. Which I'll just do forex.com. And you specifically said the monthly chart. Let me read the rest of your comment real quick. So you basically saying it took last year high and last month closed below it, and now it's trading below this month open. Also on monthly 50, EMA is below the 200. So that would say that on the larger time frame charts, you are bearish. Wrong one. Where is it? Right there. All right, let me confirm what you're saying is true. You are correct, but I would argue that you're repairing bullish structure. I mean, you're repairing bearish structure. It is bearish because you're below the monthly 200. However, the 50 is below the 21. So the weakness coming from price being under the 50 has obviously subsided, right? In fact, you broke out above the average, set in a higher high, and then made a higher low at the 21, and now you're seeing 3 continuous upside months. I do agree with your sentiment that you did reject monthly resistance. Where I would be different than you on this is it closed too close to monthly resistance for me to see that as weakness. Now, with that being said, you are currently trading at the month open. The month open was just Sunday night. So you are in price discovery this month. You are, looking for supply and demand as of right now. Last month was a bullish candle. It was a bullish close. It was a bullish push. You liquidated the prior year's high, like you said, but look how strong that close is. If this close would have been under the midpoint, then I would say, yeah, it could potentially offer up a resistance hold, but you can clearly see this trend line break as well. Now, here's the thing with pound dollar. It's traded against the dollar, so you need, in order for this to roll over, dollar strength. And you may get dollar strength now that a hawkish Fed governor has been nominated to be the Fed chair, the new Fed. He is a hawk, and hawk is generally pretty good for DXY. So if dollar strength persists, then you could see a move lower on pound. So basically how I would set this trade up, my friend, would be simple. It would be very, very simple. I would tell myself simply this: if the pound dollar refuses to close daily candles or weekly candles above last month's close, then I can be short. All right. You already kind of have that taking place here. So this is what I would look for specifically this week, specifically right now, if you want to put that trade on. I don't like the short. You're above the daily 21 exponential moving average. That means you're going to be bullish up here on the RSI as well. So you currently do have bullish pressure on the asset. With that being said, it could ultimately roll over if dollar strength persists. So what I would be doing is I would use last month's close as my underlying, that's the trade setup. As long as price is refusing to trade above that, the setup could be a short, and I could simply mitigate that risk by Monday's high. Now, with that being said, I think that would be the better place for the short signal. Not a signal, but for the setup. Because you will know, right? If you're trading above it, then it isn't bearish. And if it continues to set on an intraday time frame, higher highs and higher lows above last month's high, then you have bullish monthly continuation, and a short would be dangerous. If you liquidate this level and reject, you could let it get back under here, then fire that sell signal off. Then you could mitigate that risk even better via last month's high. So your short setup would look absolutely beautiful if February is in fact bearish, right? I'm looking for there it is. So it would be something like this. You could fire it off now. It's a little bit more risky. I think waiting for that liquidation above yesterday's high would be better, but you might not get that. right? I don't have a crystal ball, so you might not get that. It may just roll over from here. But you can see that just looking for December's high, not even all the way down there, you can get a 2-to-1 risk to reward out of that trade. And it'll be an even better trade, like I said, if the monthly range is bearish all month. You could look for a target of last month's open, and that would be like primary target where I have it, secondary target lower down next to January's open. And then obviously tertiary and least likely target would be last month's low. But that's not likely. You are counter trend. Looking for a short, you are counter trend. The near term trend is up. The last 3 months, up, up, up. Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. You get what I'm saying? So the near term trend, last 3 months, is up, not down. So it's a counter trend trade. You definitely need to take profits more quickly. Going back over here to hype, you can see that ultimately you did get that breakdown. You do not see any bullish deltas showing up. Ignore the RSI. Down here will be the real test if this is going to remain bullish or not. So I don't have anything in here that can prompt me to buy it. So if it does want to slightly roll back over today, I'm going to just leave it alone. Maybe it gives us a better setup tomorrow for upside continuation. But like I said, if we're taking out yesterday's low, or if we even get back under daily res, well, that's way down here. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what it does. I think if this could be a support zone today, and right now this thing is flying. Right, it is up huge. Just today, if you go by the open today alone, you're up to the high over 15%. It's very aggressively moving, right? There's a lot of momentum in this and a lot of volatility. Be careful if you're trading it. Bitcoin has broken down here and it is testing the VWAP. I would love it. Love it. If this could hold, since the daily low is right here, you've already liquidated it. It looks like. Let's get an accurate measurement. That low is 77,599. This low is 603. So this is a higher low than the daily low. I would assume it wants to liquidate the day low at a bare minimum. So I wouldn't want to be a buyer on it just yet. I would want to see that happen before I would even think about putting the long risk on. Might not happen. Like I said, that's stuff I can never know. Nobody can ever know. Nvidia is still pushing lower. I like that. Still kind of testing this area as support. This is where the buyers need to show up if they're looking to buy today. Session volume profiles down here, the point of control. So there is a lot of buying and selling taking place down here. That's good for us because the majority of the volume is happening way down under our entry. That's good for us. It's a lot of selling too. So apparently a lot of people getting stopped out because of this move. That's also good for us. No, I'm not trying to sell that. I'm already short. I'm trying to turn that off. Thank you. Oh, shit. Okay, so this low didn't even take place yesterday. It took place post-market. That's not even a real low, guys. This changes things. It is a post-market low, but it isn't a daily low. So what I simply mean is if you put a line on this wick, it will not register as a day low. If you go out and look at the daily time frame, this is yesterday. Yesterday's low is way up here, so that's even better for us, right? Because this is a clear breakdown. Now we just need to see if it can continue. Also, that trend line would be tagged to that low. I thought that pre-market or post-market low was the actual low. My bad. Yeah, this is a legit breakdown. As this stuff right here don't count. It happened post-market. It's not. Anybody looking at a daily chart, they're not seeing that low. The only people that see it are the people that are looking intraday. And you have liquidated it. So if this was just a stop run on these lows, then price will ultimately slowly grind back up to the upside. And my short thesis is probably wrong long term. My long-term short thesis is only a couple days. I'm not looking for Nvidia to break down or anything like that and go super low, just lower. It was a beautiful setup. Yesterday was the best setup. Yesterday, I just want to be clear, yesterday was the best trade to take on this asset, as that would have you short at a much higher price. Obviously, it would be a better setup. But you got this exact move yesterday anyway, all the way down to the low. And now you're seeing downside continuation. It's good for us. Obviously, since the new futures product that I'm trading Nvidia with, since it's so new and I can only take a small position size, obviously I'm not looking to take profits. I'm going to just leave the trade open and see what it does. If it ends up being a larger move down the line, then it'll pay me. It's such a small amount of money. There's no point in me closing the trade. I mean, it needs to have a pretty severe breakdown for that trade to pay me any money. But it's new. It will get better. You will be able to go in there and risk $1 million on it if you want to in the future. I promise. As soon as that new sticker comes off of that ticker, oh man, you'll be able to trade it as often and as much as you want. That's when things are going to get real fun for us, because now we can literally use one account to attack many different asset classes. Ooh, that's so sexy. You know, more signing in to multiple accounts, right? Love that. Technology is a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful thing. All right, so there is that low day liquidation on Bitcoin. Obviously, it looks like the sellers are trying to run it back. Time will let us know if they're right or wrong here. I want to see it hold daily support. This is where I'd love to be a buyer on Bitcoin if it can hold. S&P's pulling off today. Like I said, if Nvidia rolls over, that's going to put some downside pressure on the product, on the asset, on the futures market. The ticker SPX pulling back a little bit this morning. DXY also trading as an inside intra bullish daily candle. Let's go look at that real quick. Not really anxious to do anything on silver right here. Okay, we looked at it a little bit yesterday, but there really wasn't a solid trade idea on it yesterday. We did get one move lower, but there was no continuation. If there's no continuation, I don't want to be involved. I want to be involved in the trades that give me that continuation, as that's where the money's made. So yeah, I want to see this pull back up into potentially resistance up here. 99.58. 100 is a big figure number, so maybe the sellers show up at the 100 big figure number. They didn't when price was moving up, but now things have changed. So we'll see if this acts as resistance moving forward. The candles are already getting much smaller, and I think I can. Yes, I can. I can get deltas on this as well, because I'm on Oanda, and Oanda so willingly gives us that volume data, which we need, or we don't need it, but we do like it. And as you can see right here today, the deltas are heavily bullish. So basically what that means is if the deltas continue up, but price remains flat, could be a short even earlier than all the way up here. And if that happens, I will let you know. I don't love it right here, right now, though. It's still a little bit too early to tell. Now, if it breaks down and gives us a bigger move here and gives us a candle that looks like, oh, it's not going to let me do it. Oh, yeah, it is. We get a candle that looks like this. Then we could look to see if this supply zone will actually hold as a resistance on the retest. If it does, we can look for the short there in anticipation of getting a move like that. And then we can wham bam, thank you ma'am, on silver as well. But it's still a little bit early to take that trade as those deltas are very bullish. Session volume profile also migrating higher as price is doing the same. So even the session volume profile is telling us that it is a little bit bullish here. Notice where the session volume profile is on this ginormous daily range. So this would be the better resistance area. It also corresponds with a 4-hour res candle. Objectivity is key. You also have that. And then just slightly above 4-hour res, it's going to be that 100 big fig spot. So this is going to be a key level to watch for short sells on silver in the future if it gets up there. Since it's not there right now, no point in looking at it. Okay, what was I going to do before I sidetracked my own self with this silver chart? Oh, goodness. I was going to look at something, wasn't I? I can't remember what I was going to do, so we'll act like I wasn't going to do anything, and we'll simply just proceed. Intraday, trade setup, Bitcoin short, clean rejection play, predicted move. Uh-oh, what is this guy talking about here? You predicted it, Mr. Bower Bull. Okay. We don't predict price. We set up setups, and then the price does its thing, right? If it works, it works. We get paid. If it don't, we get stopped. I'm sure a lot of people have predicted a bear market. A lot of people have predicted price swings, but they're just 50-50. Oh, he's even giving you a time frame there. In the next 3 to 8 hours, he's predicting Bitcoin short down at least a maximum 3.8% target. Bitcoin was already down on the day. Pretty good. Let's see. Right there's your open. So you were down about 0.5% when the stream started. And now you're down about 196. So you should be taking profits pretty soon. As there is your 2.2% move. Daily support. Right into a level we're actively watching. But good call, sir. I mean, it was a fairly simple call. I'm not going to put my people into shorts in an oversold market. Can't do it. Can't do it. But, I mean, there was your daily high. That's a lower high. And this is obvious resistance. So if you were looking for shorts, you had the opportunity to take it. And it's working. No different than my NVIDIA short that we set up pre-market before the move happened. There you go. Good morning. Would you look at CC Canton Network? I don't know what that is. I've never traded it. I will absolutely look at it though. That says Cocoa Futures. I don't see Canton. CC is Cocoa Futures. I see the Chemours company. That's on the NYSE, which is the New York Stock Exchange. Maybe if I type Canton. There it is. CCUSDT. Got you. It's a crypto. All right, we'll just look at it over here. I can't give you any volume data. Let me just pull up CCUSDT. Or USDT. Okay. We don't want the premium index. We want the perps. All right, here's the perps. It's currently bullish. It's currently moving up. You're currently above last month's close. I mean, You'd be hard pressed to get me to be a buyer here, as it didn't even pull back yet. Yesterday was a solid bullish move and a solid close. It looks like it wants to continue in that direction. It looks like it wants to continue. The problem is you're overbought here on the RSI. So a pullback could happen soon. And to be honest with you, depending on how today closes, will determine whether or not you have bearish divergence or not on the RSI. So it's definitely not a long for me. It's not a short for me either, because it's got too much bullish momentum. Let's go look at these deltas on an intraday basis. You do have weakness on the deltas. It's not trend continuation style weakness, but it is there. You are under the zero line. I like where the POC is. The only way I could set this trade up for a short is if it stays trading below or rejects at resistance 19,425. I wouldn't want to see any higher bullish closes than that price, but I definitely couldn't be a buyer. These higher lows, I mean, you could trade all the way down to here and it could still just be a higher low. That's the same scenario that's playing out on Bitcoin right now, right? You could trade all the way down to the 2025 low. As long as you don't go lower than that, it is another higher low. And if technical analysis has taught me anything, you don't necessarily want to be a super duper bear when you're making higher lows on a daily time frame. But on CC, be careful. If you're in it, I wouldn't be scared out of my position here. I would keep holding it, as a larger breakout could ensue. But I wouldn't be opening fresh longs up at these prices. It could continue, obviously. You could be right if you put that trade on, but I have no edge here. So I would not trade it. The only thing I could do with it would be to sell it. And I don't love the idea of the short. I don't like shorting strong assets. That trade does not work out that often. It works out occasionally. It's a very low hit rate trade when you're just randomly shorting overbought markets. Overbought markets are very dangerous to short because the upside potential is unlimited, whereas the downside potential is only always ever 100%. You can have an upside move of 1,000%, 10,000%. So the risk is just too great. But we have shorted strong markets many times. So yeah, I mean, there really isn't a setup to take right here, right now, though, for us. Thoughts on HPQ monthly? If you're just joining us, welcome. We put a short on NVIDIA right before the bell using the new futures, NVIDIA futures on the Weeks platform. It's going to be a beautiful thing when it grows. It's going to be absolutely fantastic because the PDT rule that affects so many people is going to be skirted around. Because on a futures perpetual contract, you can short it as many times as you want. And you can use very small money also. That's going to be a big thing in the future. I promise. It will be huge. So that's where we took the trade. But obviously, if you would have taken this trade with shares or with options, it would have made money, right? That's a big move. That's a $7 move. Almost like you're looking at $6 and some change. That's a large move on NVIDIA. NVIDIA's down 3.3% here real early. I mean, that's winner chicken dinner, boys. Winner chicken dinner. It was a gap up slightly and it sold off. So going by where it closed yesterday, it's not down quite 3%, but from where our short entry was, it is. Yeah, down 2.68%. That's what this will say anyways, right? 2.72, fair enough. Close enough. Close enough. Generally, 2% is what we're looking for on a trade, on an intraday scalp. 2% move in our direction, that pays the bills. You can do that consistently, week over week. You're a consistent profitable trader. Can you please look at Coin? Coin is another one that is on the Weeks platform. So it is one that we can trade via a perpetual swap futures contract. It's because it's a perpetual swap, it never expires either. So those pesky expirations that happen, you can get rid of those. It don't happen in the crypto world. All right, so coin here looks real bad. Obviously, Bitcoin is real bad. This is a gap down, push lower. Guys, Bitcoin closed last month as a bearish engulfing candle. It's a trending move, right? Engulfings are decent signals on monthly charts when occurring as a reversal signal. When you get an engulfing that is occurring in a trending move, that is not good. So you could see more downside on Bitcoin for sure. And since Bitcoin is getting pretty much hammered lately, it's affecting Coinbase shares. It's getting closer and closer to monthly support. But here's the thing. I don't like to be a buyer while the downside momentum is strong. And you have strong downside momentum here. This is a beautiful trending move. This would have been a chef's kiss short trade. And it has paid the bills, man. You only got one up closing day from where you broke down right here. Boom. Only one day has been an up closing day. Every single day has been red, 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 red. It is blood red. Don't necessarily want to be a buyer when that's occurring. However, you almost have an oversold market here on the weekly time frame, and that is when we decide to start buying shares for long-term portfolio growth. Now, when it does hit oversold, or if it does hit oversold, you might want to give it a week or two before you buy, just to make sure that you don't see that huge capitulation move to the downside, as your account could suffer from that. You might give it time, allow the capitulation to happen, and then look to be a buyer. It's not now. It isn't right now. This is pretty bad. You've just opened a new month. You've just opened a new week. So maybe this ends up being the low of the week, but it doesn't look like it. I mean, I wouldn't be taking a long trade trying to predict a market reversal here. You're continuing down. It looks like it can keep doing that. You do have a long-term monthly support level down here. Maybe that's where it's headed. Maybe that's where it's going. It's also going to be a quarterly support and a yearly open. It's going to be the year open of 2024. So there you go. That's your potential support. We also know it's monthly support as well as quarterly support. So that's where I would look for it to slow down, or at least wiggle. The MSTR, it did its little wiggle the same, but it's so weak, it's probably doing the same thing. Like any Bitcoin market right now is going, any asset that tracks or trades like Bitcoin, they're all in bad shape here. All in bad shape here. You're looking at a 135. I bought MSTR at 187. I thought it was going to bounce from there. It didn't. I'll double down again at 90, and that'll be it. I'll set a stop loss about 50 and call it. I do think a bounce is coming, but there's a lot of uncertainty out there, and the uncertainty that other channels are speaking about isn't, in my opinion, what they should be speaking about. I think Fourier cycle models is probably causing a lot of this sell side, But I think the real concern is going to be A, Michael Saylor being squeezed, and B, the BIP 110 soft fork that is happening this year on Bitcoin. That is massive uncertainty. Just with the BIP 110 stuff, you have a hostile takeover happening on the Bitcoin chain, right? Core devs are being essentially hijacked. That ain't good. Like, the market sees that as terrible because it's the code that makes Bitcoin what it is. So attractive. So you start messing with that, you're messing with the fundamentals. That, in my opinion, is the main reason why Bitcoin is so weak here. The macro fundamental across the markets doesn't really support that much sell side pressure. Not like what we're seeing on Bitcoin. What we're seeing on Bitcoin is something Bitcoin related. You can chalk it up to the 4-year cycle if you want, but I think people would be better well served if they knew the actual thing that was causing the uncertainty, and that is the soft fork that is happening this year. So anything trading with Bitcoin until Bitcoin bottoms out, at least puts in a local bottom, is going to be dangerous buying. But all of these things are going to give you a phenomenal buying opportunity. Phenomenal buying opportunity. It could be the best buying opportunity in the next 5 years. It literally could be that. Yeah, I am very, very excited to be a buyer, but just not yet. Here's what I'm thinking. Since the bigger channels, right, the ones that have like millions of followers across many social platforms, when those guys start talking about BIP 110, once those guys admit, because most of them are already saying stuff like the 4-year cycle model is broken, even though price action is kind of not saying that. I mean, you could make the argument that this sell side is entirely due to the 4-year cycle model. But I would disagree. It's just my opinion, though. But once they start to put it all together and then start relaying that message to, you know, the herd, if you will, the millions of people will then know about BIP 110. I think then we will be closer to the bottom. Then. Because you're going to, once those bigger channels and those bigger influencers start to talk about the BIP 110 stuff, that's going to cause more fear and more uncertainty. So you could see another several weeks of more sell side, but it will be closer to the bottom. So they'll just be talking about it and how it could trigger another massive wave of selling. It won't be. It'll be another wave of selling, but it will be a smaller leg of selling. That will be the buying op. Literally, that will be the buying opportunity. Once you've let them talk about it for a couple weeks, let the red candles show up another couple weeks, then hit the buy button. Because that's when it's going to go up. Hopefully this doesn't kill Bitcoin. It might kill it. We don't want that to happen, but we'll see. All right. What price is Bitcoin going to? That's a good question. That is a question that nobody can responsibly answer. I can tell you where some technical levels are to look for, but I can't tell you that it's going to go there or that it's going to reverse there. Does that make sense? Because I can't see into the future. Nobody can. There's no analysis in the world that will give you accurate price predictions. None. But I would say when you hit 50K, or if you hit 50K, that would be a good place to start, expecting some choppy price action, because the 50K mark is so huge because the 200 exponential is up at like 58. So when the 200 exponential actually crossed the 50K mark, that then became a pretty decent level to say that could end up being the floor. Longer term, like if you're looking at longer term charts, I think that would be a great spot to be a buyer. 50K. Absolutely. You could potentially let it get hit and then wait for bearish divergence to show up on the week, or bullish divergence to show up on the weekly chart, then start accumulating bags. 50K is a good price target. It would also give us a higher percentage drop, which is also something we're looking for if the 4-year cycle model is still intact, because every Bitcoin bear market has been a higher low, correct? 85% the first bear market, then it was like 81, then 76. So this time we would anticipate 75% off the highs being the floor, if the 4-year cycle model is controlling price. I don't think it is, but if it is, then that's where I would anticipate a floor being. That's a lot lower than where the 200 exponential or simple is. You'll see that here. A 75% pullback on Bitcoin puts you right at 30K. And a lot lower than the weekly 200. So I'm not anticipating not that much of a drop. I think 50K would be like a chef's kiss price for people to start piling in. Bitcoin has a beautiful trend associated with the chart if you're looking at it on log. A lot of people are like, a lot of people are looking at 50K, I think. And it's justified given what the 200 is doing. If we look at it longer term, you can see it's been a really good place to buy, even though price did in fact drop well below it in few cases. It still is like a really good average for a cost basis model. So I think you'll see people start buying there. I don't know if it'll be enough to stop it from just dumping, but we'll see. And I don't know that it'll get there. But what I do know is this is a fresh weekly breakdown. A fresh weekly breakdown. You took out November's low, and November's low is roughly right about the midpoint of that last week's breakdown. So typically we look for continuation with those kind of drops. So yes, I have a bearish bias here on Bitcoin. Absolutely. Long term, I'm an uber bull on Bitcoin, but as a trader, I'm bearish here. Absolutely. And I would be looking to short weekly swing highs. Absolutely. Yep. My target would be 50K. I mean, it is what it is. I have to do what price is saying to do. Well, I mean, it's you break this low, there's really nothing else supporting price. This is it. Like once you lose this, you don't really have anything until you get down to here. So yeah, I don't want to see it happen, but when we lost this level right here, right? When we were watching all this chop, when it broke down, that's when we put the shorts on, right through here. When we lost that 21 weekly, we were bearish, and we've been bearish ever since. This retest was of the 21 weekly. That was the perfect opportunity for the short trade. Absolutely beautiful. We shorted it. We didn't short it via Bitcoin. We shorted Fartcoin because we thought Fartcoin would experience a much larger breakdown than Bitcoin did. And it did. It did. It worked. It was a beautiful trade. So now we're just, I don't like buying bearish markets. I like that bearishness. I like that diverging signal first on the higher time frames. Then I go in and start buying it. But right now you don't have that. Right now you're trending. You have a trending, fresh breakdown trending market. It's a very dangerous market to buy, unfortunately. But them's the facts. And Nvidia is making fresh daily lows again. So that's a good thing. If you took the short with me this morning, make sure you're taking profits here, please, because I mean, you got your move. We got what we were looking for. We wiped the floor with it. So yeah, it's looking good. That's a nasty looking chart. That's what we anticipated. We loved it. It just looked so crystal clear to us. It's just an amazing short. It was an easy, like, home run trade right out the gate. We left it better yesterday than we did today. We loved it a lot better yesterday, but nonetheless, gave us an opportunity this morning as well. So Bitcoin still is just chopping, but I do anticipate it goes lower. If daily support holds, you can take like a very risky long counter trend trade. I don't love that. CSCO took out its all-time high, 26 years. What a journey. Cisco. Let's look at Cisco. Yes, it did. Look at that thing go. Yep. It's on fire. I don't know exactly what's... I mean, it's a good company. It's a good company, and it's a great looking chart. These are the kind of companies I want to invest in. They just grow. I love it. It's a beautiful chart. Very easy, wonderful trend. Yeah, I wouldn't be a seller here. Fresh all-time highs. A short squeeze you could be looking for much higher prices. I wouldn't be buying it either because you're already overbought. Yeah, you're hitting overbought today. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly, though. Yeah, you're really close to overbought. And then the monthly is massively overbought. It could go much higher, though. You're only printing an 80 right now. 79.42 on the indicator. You're definitely overbought, but silver got to 95. So that could happen here. That could happen here. Be careful if you're scalping that much momentum and that much volatility. But yeah, it's good looking chart, bro. This is my take profit, partial 70%. Good job. Good trade. Nice job. Bower Bull. I'm not sure how to say that. Pixel Property said, thanks, you're welcome. That consolidating from 2024 March through September 2024, cutting through that is really bearish for MicroStrategy. Yeah, MicroStrategy doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Thoughts on silver? Yeah, we had a short bias on silver last week. We took one attempt on Tuesday. We got stopped out of that trade. Then again on Thursday, we liked it lower. We tried to put the trade on. We didn't get filled. So unfortunately, I missed it. But today, I assume it's probably going to be choppy. I think a slow grind on silver up to like anywhere between 98 and 102 it could potentially be the lower high. I would be very interested in shorting silver at either the white or orange level on my chart right here. I wouldn't be a seller today because of deltas. The deltas are extremely bullish here. Very much bullish. This literally means that people are hitting the buy button more aggressively than they are hitting the sell button. That's what gives it the delta. And I never want to be a seller on a chart that has a strong delta like that. Ever. I mean, you're just as strong up here on these deltas as you were back here, guys. And you can see what this thing did back here. It just kept going up and up and up. So today, I mean, I wouldn't be a buyer looking for this level to get hit today, but I'd say in the next day or two, if it gets up here and rejects, I could be a seller there. Other than that, I'm not buying silver. I can't buy silver above $70. I just can't. If it builds in a long-term multi-month support above $70, then I'll buy it. Then I'll accumulate it along with everybody else. But while it's extremely volatile like this, like volatility is pinned to the floor on this thing. It is max right now. So you're probably going to see a lot of crazy chaotic markets on an intraday basis from here until 6 weeks from now, right? It's going to be real crazy. It's going to be difficult. But that's where I can get more interested in looking for a short on it, up there. I don't know if it'll get up there, and I don't know if it'll roll over when it does get up there. But that's when I get really interested in looking to put on some risk on silver. We can just go ahead and look at gold too if you want, because gold did pretty much the same thing and is doing pretty much the same thing. I do not know what that trend line is. Oh, that was back when we were looking for the long on gold. Yeah, we were looking for it to break out of this wedging formation here. This is the kind of accumulation I'm talking about. You give me multi-months of sideways price action, and I'll get involved again. Gold looks really bullish here on the weekly range. Wow. Yeah, gold, I would potentially be looking for shorts there. Same thing, right? You got a big figure number up here being $5,000. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going. So basically the way you got to look at it is like this. Think of people that were holding through all this chaos and volatility. Obviously they don't know where the top's going to be, right? Nobody does. So they're just riding it out, watching it day by day, hit higher highs. Then this happens, right? And this happens in just 2 days. Boom, boom. You go from 5,600 all the way down to 4,600. That's literally $1,000 drop in the span of 2 days, right? But they didn't exit. They didn't exit into all that emotional trading because they're smart. They're going to wait. They're going to wait for price to reclaim some of that move. And then when it gets, they'll have a price target in mind. I don't know what it'll be, but they will. And then they will dump. That's when they'll sell. They'll pretty much look at this as, well, that was a good run. It's over. Most likely. Doesn't mean that it is. Obviously, if China keeps accumulating gold the same way that they have been for the last 2 years, and the US does too, and all the nations across the world and all the central banks, then obviously gold can keep going up, right? But we need price to settle down. It needs to build a range. It needs to provide the opportunity for people to get in. So until that happens, the bigger move is most likely done. So once people start to exit, that's going to give it a lower high. And that lower high will then also bring new short sellers in, because they'll also be like, yep, this is when to sell. So we're just waiting for that. When we get that, we're going to jump all on it. We're going to jump on it along with the rest of them. 5,000 will be that first level that I'm watching. I'm not going to fire off a short if it hits it, but I am going to keep it on watch. It also lines up perfectly with 4-hour res here as well. There's also this nasty expansion days midpoint could also act as resistance. This is also where the POC is. So most of the trading that happened in this daily range took place right here. That's a good place to look to sell the gold and also add a short position. If it breaks out above that cleanly with strong momentum, then it ain't done. It wants to find a higher high. But if it rejects there cleanly as well, I'm on it. I'm on it. All right. Blue Horseshoe loves 50K. I don't know who that is. Jewelry Affair says, Jesus, man, when will Bitcoin get a break? I feel your pain. You're not the only one that feels like that, my friend. Like, you have some people on YouTube right now calling bears like low IQ individuals, and it's really funny to me because that is not what a lot of professional bears are. Most of the smartest people on the planet operate in these markets, and you have a lot of people that are sell side only traders or operators or analysts. They only operate when there's death and destruction, and that's now. So low IQ, no. Is that most likely, diamond hand cope? Yes. Yeah, the bears are definitely winning right now. So it's hard to be a buyer when that is happening. All the sentiment everywhere is just as negative as it can be right now on Bitcoin. And it has been for a long, long time. Yesterday it was at 14, the extreme fear. Today you're at 17. This thing has been pegged like this for so long. As long as that, yeah, I mean, eventually we'll see some spikes and more dips and stuff, but yeah, right now it's too momentous to the downside. Potentially jumping in front of a falling knife. And that's what I don't like people to do. So Nvidia is still bleeding here. That is literally also helping the S&P pull back a little bit. I'll show you up top. So your cash market has retraced all the way back down to February's VWAP. Wait a minute, that was a lie. This is not February's VWAP. Let me get rid of that. That was not true. It's January's VWAP. Oh goodness, yesterday was the month open, dumbass. Sorry. Yeah. It's pulling back pretty good here. This is probably because of Nvidia. Notice Bitcoin did in fact stop going down, so I don't know if it's going to continue. Let's go look at Bitcoin. Yeah, people are going to try to sell this still. I mean, this is one leg of price lower. It didn't give us our entry. We were looking for a daily support retest. We didn't get it. We probably will. This is the prior day's low right there, so I don't know if it'll hold support or not. Losing the weekly, monthly VWAPs is a sell signal for a lot of technical traders, so you will have people firing off short side entries here, and the momentum and trend is in that direction. So I mean, I can't fault anybody for shorting Bitcoin right now. It's the trade to make. Like, hello. I love Bitcoin long term. I own Bitcoin in a cold storage wallet, and my cold storage wallet is down massively. Can't argue with price. You just can't do it. Price is king. Price is king. All right, so yeah, that's that on that. Let me think. Farcoin. Yeah, you got heavy sell side deltas today. I don't know if it's trend worthy or not. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. So you could be getting ready to see a squeeze here. Farcoin looks like it's trying to hold support at 4-hour support. Yeah, if price isn't trending with the deltas, you got to be very, very cautious if you're a bear. You should be getting a breakdown. You're not. Yeah, so this could be getting ready to spike. I don't know how big it'll spike, but could be getting ready to break. No, not really, not yet. That's just a retracement of the breakdown, so completely in line with current structure. Yeah, this would be a sellable opportunity for the shorts still. Very much so. You know the shorts are looking for downside continuation. This is not what, this little move right here is not what they were anticipating. What was his name? Boer Bull in the chat. That's what he was looking for, but most people are going to be looking for a bigger move lower. Anybody that's taking entries today, especially with the market pulling back, they're going to see that overall weakness as well and think that it's going to help give a downside move. Thanks for the show, Heath. Was curious to see what you think of HPQ quarterly and monthly. Thank you so much, Lunar Entity, for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. I can take a look at it. HPQ quarter and monthly charts. Got it. is it's on the New York Stock Exchange. So I'm assuming you're talking about the stock. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to analyze price, what I see, okay? Quarterly charts. Let me get the yearly first. So last year was a breakdown. It's a breakdown. You took out multiple years worth of lows here, and you're still doing that. So this is an aggressive pullback. I don't know what they did to deserve it, but people are taking profits on it. You have lost over 50% of its value at this point. So eventually it is going to get into viable opportunity. The chart looks extremely good, right? It definitely trends from bottom left to top right. That's what I look for in an investment. It looks like this thing has been split maybe a few times because of the way it looks. This is what it actually looks like. So this is an aggressive sell-off that has taken part for the last 3 years. First year, obviously, half a year was bullish, and the second half of the year was bearish. You closed below the midpoint. That would have been a caution sign for me on this yearly range. I would not have liked that for upside continuation. It did, in fact, take out the lows and broke down continued low, low, low. You've gotten all of those lows. The next real big key area for liquidations is way down there. So I wouldn't anticipate it getting all the way down there. But, I mean, you're doing way more than you need to be doing here. So what I think is happening is I think a lot of people tried to buy around the $20 area. You know, a nice 48% pullback. Let's go ahead and buy some shares. And now you're seeing some of those people getting liquidated. So let Q1 set a low and then see if Q2 liquidates that low. If you're trending below Q1's low, then don't be a buyer just yet. Wait for the obvious low to be sitting or sat, right? So essentially what we want to see is Q2 open somewhere, wherever it opens. If that first move is a correction, if it comes down and smokes this low at $18.32, if it can't spend more than, say, 3 or 4 days doing it or under it, and then bounces back up into Q1's range, you could be a buyer there and then set that stop. Or I could be a buyer there and I would set my stop under Q2's low, if you catch my drift. So like if I was trading this, that's how I would do it. Because it's so weak right now, you've gotten the liquidation and you're getting downside continuation. So basically you're liquidating January's lows right now. So it might not even take Q2 to do what I'm talking about. It might be doing it literally right now this month. And you're just seeing a really nasty down day today. You've already liquidated last month's lows. So early buyers that tried to put their stops under there are getting beat up today. But give it time. See if it gets back up into the range. If it does, maybe then I could be a buyer. And I could mitigate my risk with this low. Let all the liquidations take place. Then hopefully those smarter buyers will come running into the asset. Now, stocks are different than crypto and Forex and every other thing we trade because these things are actually priced based on value and earnings and all that stuff, right? PE ratios and whatnot. So there could be a legit reason for the sell-off. Let's go look and see what an analyst rating is on this stock. We can get an analyst rating right here. It appears to be neutral right now. There's not many analysts that have given their opinion, 17 to be exact. 2 are a strong buy, 1 is a buy, 9 are holds. So 9 are saying if you own it, hold it. 1 is saying sell, 4 are saying it's a strong sell. I would love to read their opinions on why they think it's a strong sell, but we don't get that data. In fact, we don't even get told who the analysts are. If TradingView, if you're listening, we would love to know who these 4 analysts are, and we would love them to put out, I don't know, a 2 or 3 minute read on why they feel that way. And then we could go do our own research, which you could do that anyway. You can find out why people have a sell side bias on it. Price is extremely weak. Trading it, if I was specifically trading it, I would have a bearish bias here. And I would probably continue to keep that bias as well. Because this is a fresh breakdown, whether whether we think it's a liquidation or not, it is a fresh breakdown with some momentum. And that is the story. It don't just feel like a liquidation, right? It feels like they're trying to break it down lower, or sellers are still continuing to sell. So we need that sideways choppy price action to build up, and then that would be the best time to potentially look for longs for me. And when I get this kind of stuff in here, then I can let a longer term low be built in, and I can look to mitigate my risk around those areas. You are more than welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. All right, back to NVIDIA. Looks like it may have put in a low here. This is a fresh breakdown. This will bring other sellers to the table tomorrow, the next day, and yada yada, right? Looking at this on the daily, you really haven't done anything. But because you have broken down through here with such steam, obviously I was not the only short seller to see this today. You know what I mean? Technical analysis, it does work. It absolutely works, regardless of what people think. Macro analysts and high IQ folks like to make fun of us, but we still find these setups like butter. So easy, baby. Easy. Anybody can do it. Anyways, yeah. They're going to be targeting 2026's low, apparently. And it's right there. And then August's open. I don't think that's going to make a whole lot of difference. Oh, yeah, it will. Absolutely it will. That's support. So support is down here. Until you close a monthly candle under 176.77, that will be support. So let's just call it monthly support, because that's what it is. And we'll be able to keep our eyes on it. That is also the low, but it looks like they're going to get there in the next few days. We look at this on the weekly. I mean, this is a fresh breakdown. There's weekly support. So, yeah. I like it. I'm not going to close this trade. I'm going to hold it. You guys should take profits. Anybody that shorted it with me should absolutely take profits. Because remember, I shorted it on a futures contract, so I could only put a very small size on it. And even with that big move, it isn't really making any money. It doesn't show me how much money I have tied up in the trade. I mean, it's using $70 of margin, and then the rest is leverage. It doesn't show me what I'm controlling in terms of shares. It's telling me how many. So 15 is what it says. Let's see if it's 15 at this share price. I'm just curious. It's probably what it is. Oops. So 15 times what? 190? What was it when we shorted it? We'll just call it the open. So 187. 187. Or $2,805 probably is what I have short. I'm only making No, that is not. That's going to be 15 shares. So, yeah, I'm not sure. It's making less than $100. But like I said, once it's done, everybody will be able to use it. Then you'll have more liquidity. Then you'll be able to trade it with as much size as you want. Then we can size up. It's just a trial right now. It's brand spanking new. I love it. This is so good for people that hate the pattern day trader rule. Now you can skirt around it. It's gonna be fantastic. This kind of stuff right here is literally what can break poor people out of that cycle. Stuff like this. It's fantastic. Love it. All right, so that trade's pretty much done. At least for today. I don't anticipate a lot more downside from here. This is a pretty big move already. This weekly range is only yesterday and today, and it's already bigger than 5 days trading last week. So, could see some more downside, but I wouldn't anticipate it. Beautiful. Absolute beautiful setup. And it worked out beautifully. That's the key part right there. Because we do get beautiful setups all the time, and they don't always work, right? That's okay. Because when they work good and fast. You in any FX trades, Heath? Yeah, I'm short. I don't know if I have the brokerage page pulled up. I don't know. Here, let me just do this. Let me see. I'm short. You're a dollar cat Swissy. Sorry, dollar Swissy. Right here. I'm actually gonna have to put it on the weekly time frame to give you an accurate depiction of the trade. I don't have the broker pulled up, so I can't show you the exact trade. Yeah, I don't see the brokers. I'm not gonna log into it. Well, hang on. Give me 1 second, right here. Forex. Yeah, right here. Okay. So here's the trade that I'm in right now. Yeah, we shorted it a long time ago. We've been sitting in it for a while, but we shorted it up in here when the dollar was liquidating the August highs. I think that's when we put the trade on. We had a short side bias on the dollar based on macroeconomics. The Fed is cutting interest rates and among other things. So we had a short side bias on it as long as it was trading under August's high. If it started to break out above August's high, we were going to be switching our bias to bullish. So back then we put on a double trade. We essentially shorted USD Swissy and we bought Euro dollar. All right, to offset the risk on dollar. And we caught a little bit of the alpha on the euro short, but ultimately got stopped out of that trade as the euro broke out, right? So we stayed in this position, didn't get stopped out. So this position went on to make some money, and the euro position, we were able to get back in on that trade 2 weeks ago when the dollar retested, when the euro retested the lows. I am no longer in that trade because I actually closed it. It was a great trade, and I wanted to just go ahead and take profits as I'm trying to build up a very small Forex account as well. So when it's super small like that, you have to take profits like to grow the account. But basically, we took the trade right here at December's low. So this happened on a Sunday, unfortunately, but it was the trade that we took. So when it broke down right through here, this is when we fired off the long, looking for it to liquidate. This opened and instantly dropped. So we didn't have time to buy it then. We actually had to buy it in this candle when the spread chilled out a little bit. So we took our longs right here in this candle, roughly at about December's low. So literally the long entry was right here where this white line is. And it broke out. So I started scaling out of it as it pushed into highs. But as of right now, the only open trade that I have is the USD Swissy. I've basically been waiting to see what the dollar's going to do. And here's the reason why. The Fed chair is, we got a new guy and he's a hawk. And that could cause dollar strength. It isn't right now, so it does kind of look like we're pulling back into support here. Higher, low support. Now, I don't love the action that we were getting here on the euro. I don't like this good, strong breakout and then this deep retracement. And the reason is the same way I got bearish again on Bitcoin when we lost December's high. When you break out clean like that, right? You want to see that bullish demand show up more aggressively at higher prices to help push that trend on. We didn't see that. Instead, what we got was an absolute rejection. If you fib this candle's range from low to high, you're going to see that you closed real close to the midpoint. It is a bullish close. So for right now, we're watching January's open. If it holds as support longer term, we're going to be buyers again. So right now here on the near term, you do have a higher low. So one could be forced to jump on this long here a little early. I say wait. Now, if you break out above these swing highs and you show like consistent strength, well, then we won't be able to get it down here. We'll have to get in on it up here. But I would be a buyer. Okay. I think this will probably be a liquidation and then it'll come down here. It'll smoke these lows. All these early buyers that couldn't wait for the month open retest will get destroyed. That'll push prices into here. Then we can watch what happens at the yellow line. Ignore the orange line. The yellow line is where I want to be a buyer, and only if those buyers show back up again. Because we do, as of right now, have a swing high failure pattern. It was a good close. It closed above the midpoint, so we still have the bullish bias, but that was a terrible reaction up there. This is because of the new Fed. He's a hawk. That gives dollar strength. But the dollar is still very much a valid short setup, but that new Fed chair is concerning. So this way, if it's willing to trade under here with continuation, it isn't a long. That will then give me a bearish bias on the euro or dollar bull position. So I'm just kind of being patient here, allowing euro to give me the sweet setup, and then also kind of show me where, if the buyers are thinking, yeah, this is just a pullback, you should be getting long. So I don't want to really put that risk on here just yet. You could, obviously, you could do it if you want to take that risk, but I would rather wait. If it does break out, 118 holds as support, will be higher low buyers on the red days moving forward into the end of this week, going into next week. But as of right now, the chart looks kind of bad. You're trading under last week's open. So right here is where I think resistance will be. It's just, I'm not predicting this is going to happen or anything like that. I know I can't predict price, but this is what I think or will be watching for. Knowing that you broke down below that weekly open and now you're building a base under it, it kind of feels like this would be a resistance for shorts. And I think those shorts are willing to take it down to here at a bare minimum. So right now, I can't take the long. If it breaks out above this and then builds a support in here, then I can. So 118.302 going to be a very important price to watch on euro dollar. This is on the forex.com exchange. So if you want to get the exact price, one spot 18302. The yearly open is one spot 17458. Those are the two levels that will basically give me my bias moving forward. The daily 21 is currently holding a support. That is also what I want to see happen. But Forex sometimes is a little bit tricky. Sometimes it puts in traps, and when you think is the time to buy, it's really not. And there's a lot of games played in this market by big money. There's like $7 trillion a day gets funneled through these markets. These are super liquid markets. Big money only. Right? They're here. They are watching. And so am I. So am I. Yeah, if we break down below the yearly low or the yearly open, we're definitely going to change our bias, because obviously dollar bulls think maybe rate hikes. I don't think he'll hike rates. Donald Trump wants someone that's going to lower rates. So I think they bought the news, right, of the hawk. They bought it. But then when he gets in the office and he starts, doing what Donald Trump wants, then those dollar bears are going to show right back up again. So I honestly think we have time here for a broader, longer trend to take place on the euro. So near term, we'll have to be vigilant and risk averse. Yeah, that's what we're waiting for. And I will absolutely pull the trigger, man. I want 26 to be just as good as 2025 was, if not better. When you can actually show that you can grow a small account, it's a real money account. When you show people that, they're going to be happy, more than happy to show up and watch your live trades. So yeah, that's what we're doing. If that sounds interesting to you, or if you are interested in that, I know most people want to see big money trades, but it's not about the money. It's not about the money. The money isn't what you're learning a skill for. You're learning a skill to be able to project this into the future. So it's not important that you're making thousands of dollars a day right now. What's important is that you learn how to properly do it, so that way you can build on success and be super successful in the future. And it won't take long. Once you get it, it does not take long. Let me load up the small account real quick. All right, here we go. So right here it is. It's very small. Sorry, wrong one. There you go. Account balance $124. Forex.com is the broker. You can see the broker right there. You can see everything. 124.08 is the current value. The goal is to obviously be higher come 2027. That is the goal. It is February, so I'm a little late doing this, but okay. Doesn't matter. We're going to grow it. And we need to wait for that euro trade to set up. When it sets up, we'll be ready to take it. We took along here. This is a higher low as of right now. As long as this low is higher than that low, the trend is up. The trend is up. So as of right now, even though we got that news, we definitely still want to be on the buy side. But that will change, obviously, if we break below here with continuation. That will change. So we're going to have more than enough time to set this trade up. Hopefully it doesn't take off without us. Otherwise, we'll have to potentially jump on it with I don't like chasing price. So there's Nvidia. Yeah, it's still weak this morning, but I do honestly think you're probably getting pretty close to setting in a sideways range down here for the rest of the day. I don't think you're going to get much more out of it unless something else is happening that I'm not aware of, and that happens every day. I don't watch any news networks or anything, so there could be some turmoil out there I'm not aware of. I mean, according to what Bitcoin's doing, obviously there's turmoil out there, right? This thing looks rough. Does look like it's trying to build a near-term inverted head and shoulders, though. You do have a neckline. I would just call it 79,308. Daily support is what I want to see hold. So even if it trades back down here today, I'd still be interested in being a buyer as long as it's not trending below that. If it's trending below that, I'm not a buyer. I'm not that. Being a buyer is super risky here because the trend is obviously down. Yeah. I chose Aussie because it's been stronger than Euro and Pound. Yeah, but Aussie isn't in the dollar basket, Wes. Also, Wes, Aussie has a lot of their bullish price action has come from gold and silver. Keep that in mind moving forward. I'm not saying that you're wrong in choosing Aussie over Euro and Pound, but if you're choosing Aussie over Euro and Pound for a dollar trade, I wouldn't, because Aussie dollar isn't in the DXY basket. So Aussie's price is not dictated by dollar. If you get what I'm saying. Euro is tied to dollar by more than any other currency, so it almost trades inversely to the dollar. Not quite, but almost. Yeah, the Aussie's big run that it's had lately could be attributed to gold and silver's run. We can look at Aussie dollar and see if there's a setup there. Price action is price action. It don't matter what we're looking at. Aussie dollar. Let's see what we got here. Still very much bullish. If dollar and silver roll over, I would say this is probably, I mean, I'm not going to call a top on this. Obviously, it's very bullish. Very, very bullish still. So sellers have been trying to beat it up lately. Let's get rid of that because that is nothing for right now. All right, Q4's low is all the way down there. You have liquidated all the way out to January 2023. So you almost, well, you kind of do now. You're in February, so you do now have 2-year highs on Aussie dollar. Looking to short this based on gold and silver alone ain't the best strategy. However, with that being said, if it fails here, I could put on a short side entry. I have seen Aussie also act bullish when the other currencies do. So if I have a bullish bias on euro dollar, it isn't like I'm going to love a short bias on Aussie dollar. With that being said, I could use the Aussie dollar short for dollar strength and just short it instead of trying to catch a euro dollar short, if that makes sense. Because gold and silver are probably going to chop around for the next several months. So we could see that weakness show back up again. I think you're a little bit early maybe here because obviously it is super bullish today for some reason. Very bullish. There must have been news that affected this. Look at those deltas. You've got more bullish deltas today than you had on this move here. That is insanity. But I also see resistance holding. So we may not attack it today, but it may be tomorrow. If it's trading, okay, so if you want to try your hand at this, if not, 7,500 is what I'm watching. If you're closing daily candles above 7,500, the next level to watch is going to be 7,942. And if it fails there, then I can put a short on 7,942. I'm not going to be looking for shorts as long as price is aggregating above that. So that literally means if price is right here, I'm not going to be looking for shorts at all because something else is going on. And also, if dollar weakness comes back in, that's what we anticipate happening. Any dollar paired currencies do the opposite. So dollar strength would make sense on a weak dollar. Aussie strength would make sense on a weak dollar. But for that strong dollar play, because of the Fed chair, you see what I'm saying? If that narrative persists and continues, then we could look to put on dollar long positions right here on Aussie dollar. So these are going to be two freaking levels to watch this week, all week long. As long as your closing days under this lower one, you could, in theory, put that trade on. So that's what I will be doing. I just can't do it today because something's up today. Like this thing is uber bullish earlier. That was probably news there. I don't know. I don't see any news here. Let's see what this says. 3 hours ago, 6 hour goes dollar steady on Fed bets and data. Aussie jumps on RBA hike. Ooh. RBA hike. That's bullish for Aussie. Hard to short something when you got hikes. Dollar holds gains on economic data. Fed bets. Aussie jumps on RBA hike. They were right. So you did get a rate hike, I guess. Right here. Boom. They didn't really get any liquidations here, so the upside might not be done. But you can see where those sellers showed up. They showed up right here. So I'll tell you what. That's hard to sell into, that news. That's really hard to sell into, but we'll give it a minute here and see if this is actually a setup. There's a lot of volume traded right here. A lot of volume traded right here. Aussie dollar is a pretty quick mover too. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to put a short on it today with that news. If the sell side continues today or persists today, then tomorrow I'd be looking to sell a higher move. If the longs continue to drive price all day, I would be waiting for that week high liquidation. This up here. And that'll probably be tomorrow or the next day before that happens. Because Aussie dollar is probably already up a pretty good amount. Where is it? Right there. It's up. Yeah, it's up huge. It's up 0.94%. A 0.5% is a big move on Forex. So this could just be profit taking. I want to see the sell side persist if the sellers have it. Right now they don't. Right now the bulls got it. But anyway, yeah, hopefully that makes sense, what I'm trying to say. USD JPY has been quite the journey on this channel. Yeah. Yeah, 2025 was a bearish trend for USD JPY. So keeping in with the trend following scenario, we tried to short USD JPY earlier on or later in the year, but it was during an NFP print. It did work out for us, but I mean, it was a profit-taking move. You didn't take profits, you ended up getting stopped out, as it did ultimately go up and make fresh highs. But then you had the Fed poking their noses around, and that was, in a sense, an intervention. They just didn't intervene by influxing any currency. They didn't profit by, using dollars. Just them testing liquidity was an intervention by its own rights. But now they've introduced the Fed, the new Fed, so that could change dollar. That could change the bearish trend on the dollar. We have to be kind of cautious. If the dollar weakness persists, then we want to be short dollar. So the trade on the dollar, I think, is a little bit early, but we'll see. But yeah, it's been a crazy ride. We ate a few stops on the USD JPY. Right now, I think the Fed drama is going to drive narrative, so we have to be very careful about looking for USD JPY shorts. Let it push up into an obvious resistance, and if we see failure there, like dollar weakness persists, then maybe. But the yen also trades under its own problems. So to trade dollar specifically and leave the yen out of it, I like euro dollar for that. How can you determine what stocks and metals are newly trading on weeks? It's a good question, Bill. Let me answer that for you real quick. So if you go onto the weeks platform, right here where it says the ticker symbol, directly under the word weeks, right here, there's a little arrow. You toggle this arrow and it brings up this watch list. Now on USD, or if you open an account and just trade demo, right down here are the categories that you can trade. I guess on demo, all you can trade is these two products here. But with real money, these are all of your watch lists. Oops. So you can see here are meme tokens, stocks. You see that? It says stock. So if you click on that, it brings up all of the stocks that have perpetuals swap contracts or futures contracts on. So Coinbase, Apple, Nvidia, MicroStrategy, Tesla, Amazon, Oracle, Palantir, this one, Reddit, this one, and Meta and Google make up the stocks. You can also trade SPY and the Qs. The SPY and the Qs. So it's new. These are all new. As you can see, every one of them say the word new. So liquidity is thin right now. Once this starts to get out more and more, once more people start promoting this and talking about this, then more and more people will start using it. It's a guaranteed fact. A lot of people already have money on the exchange. So this is going to give them the ability to trade the US stock market worldwide. You see what I'm saying? This is going to be big. This is huge. Yeah, this is going to get bigger in the future. So if you want to use it, there's a link in the description. It'll save you 20% on fees. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. It will not hurt my feelings at all. But yeah, that's where you find it, bro. And then right next to stock is the metals that you can trade. You can trade PAX G, which is like a Bitcoin/gold thing. Then you can trade just gold, just silver, palladium, and platinum. So 4 metals you can trade. I would assume they keep going with this. If it works out and more people get involved, maybe soon in the future you can trade copper and other metals, right? But right now it's just precious metals. I don't have an inside track or an inside scoop on what they're going to offer in the future. I could get that info. All I got to do is hit someone up in their DMs, but Yeah, every day they add new products to this thing. Every single day they add new cryptos, and these two right here were not even on this watch list on Sunday. So these two were added yesterday. So they're adding constantly. Every day they're going to add more and more things. Right now, gold and silver are trading good. 13 million 24-hour volumes. 9 million 24-hour volumes. You got almost a million here, and then 1.2 million there. So these are all trading good. Pax G, 52 million. These are liquid. These are ready to trade right now. Absolutely. Now, because it says new, your size might be limited. You might have a limit to how big you can trade. Once it isn't new anymore, there will be no limit. I could drop every dime I have on this platform on these two trades right now if I want to. So that's gold. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's just going to give us more opportunities because I don't take trades every single day. Like, if there isn't a trade setup in the crypto market, then it makes it difficult for me to trade the crypto market. Now I can stay on one platform and look elsewhere, because Bitcoin is like the ocean and all the different cryptocurrencies are like boats that sit on the ocean. Whenever Bitcoin's up, they go up. Whenever Bitcoin's down, they go down. They all kind of trade similarly. Every now and then you're going to have altcoins that are doing their own thing, obviously. So if I go here to all assets and just hit this 24-hour change thing right here, this is going to tell me what's moving, what's up. Right now, this thing has 42 million contracts traded in a 24-hour period. It is also new. It's up 178% right this second. Right this second. So if I wanted to short this, which I don't, but if I did, I could. It's ready to go. It's not ready to short yet, though. The funding rate is actually paying the sellers, so that literally means that there's a lot more buying pressure in this right now. But I mean, it's definitely tradable. Look at the price though. 0.000000885. This is a useless asset. It has zero value. It's less than 1/100th of a thousandth of a penny. It's like terrible. So I don't like owning stuff like this, but you can see why people do. Because in just one day, they made 180% on their asset. So there's a lot of stuff that is moving in here that I just don't trade or haven't. If there's a setup on any of it, I will. And not really anything going on today. Nothing that I liked. I might find something a little bit later that I like. This is way too overbought to get involved with. But if it does start squeezing shorts, then who knows, right? It would be scalpable. This one doesn't have enough liquidity, so no. This one was up big yesterday. Yeah, it's done. That's cooked. That is absolutely toast. ZIL USD. See, that's what happens to a lot of shit coins, right? They go up and up and up and up, and then they get slammed. That's why a lot of people don't like trading crypto anymore. Well, now you don't have to. Now you can trade legit stuff like stocks and metals. I'd say they're probably going to bring Forex pairs over here before long, right? Why not? Why not? I love it. Technology's great. This is 2026 has literally a lot of bright things looking up. Lots of opportunities coming. Lots. It's gonna be fun. Gonna be fun. Link in the description. How can you determine what? Oh, I just read that. It is entirely possible to keep rates at sensible levels while the Fed scales out of its balance sheet. Manufacturing ADP and NFP suggest that current rate levels are steering it toward collapse. It is what it is, right? I mean, wherever the investors go, we'll follow them. We'll follow them. Are you long Euro USD? Not yet. Not yet. It's still a little bit early on the Euro USD trade. Today, you're trading as an inside day. That means you're trading inside yesterday's range. That is indecision. It's literally chop. It's a choppy day. I don't want to trade a chop day. I want to see what it does here. My level is the yearly open. If it can, let's say it finds resistance here and then rolls over. Down here, I'd be interested in buying it. If it breaks out above this level today or tomorrow and then holds it as support, then up here, I'd be interested in being a buyer. But right here where it is, I'm not interested in buying it, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people are buying it today because it is retesting the daily 21 EMA, but not an objective level. You're not testing any objective price level. So I think these people could be early. If you catch my drift. Like today closes as an inside day, tomorrow opens and you get a downtrending day down into here, and then the next day opens and you see if those buyers show up or if price continues to break down. Price continues to break down under the 2026 yearly opening range, then obviously dollar bulls are running with the narrative of the hawk Fed guy. And we'll see. But today, I think we're a little early on that. So no, not long yet, Euro USD. It's soon, just not today. Your take on Hood? I see Confluence on the weekly Ichimoku at $85, which is also IPO price. Thoughts for long there? Yeah, let's go look at Hood. Hood is also one of the stocks that we can trade on the week's platform. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's Robinhood. Did I see Hood? I thought I did. Let me see real quick. Yes, Robinhood. Oh, okay. You said it's at its IPO price? Oh, okay, I see. I don't have an Ichimoku, but this doesn't look good. So you got to kind of look at price objectively, what it's doing. We're in a new year. We're 2 months. We just started the second month in the new year. This is pulling back pretty dramatically, right? Pretty dramatically here. Year open. So your yearly open has already liquidated Q4's low as well as Q3's low. So the bears are winning right now. This will be a level to watch in the future, but as of right now, today, it's not doing anything. I don't, excuse me. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't run the Ichimoku cloud indicator. I don't have any problem with it. I just don't use it. So I don't have any edge with it. I don't need an edge with it to see what price is doing. I can clearly see what price is doing. It opened the year up strong, retested December's open, and rejected there. That would have been a sell for us because that's exactly what the dollar did, and that's exactly how we shorted the dollar. We would have done the exact same thing here because you're trending down. This is a breakdown. Then you got a trending move lower close. So this month, any pullback just to the open, that's a sell every time. Even if it don't work, it is. So that would have been a sell for us. I more than likely would have taken profits in this expansionary phase, and we would be just sitting in what's left of the position. With that being said, I wouldn't be closing it here. I'm getting a continuation move out of that short. So right now, the sellers don't have to do anything. They are in control of this. It's the buyers that have to prove it. So you're going to need a longer term support build. What I mean by that is you're going to need to see many days building in support at a specific price. What price? I have no clue yet. Because right now the sellers are still running this thing. It's a breakdown with a continuation. It's literally continuing as we're speaking here. So trying to buy it today would be like trying to catch a falling knife. I wouldn't recommend it. It hurts. Especially if you catch the tip of the blade right in the middle of your palm. It's going to hurt. So don't do it. Wait. Let the sellers take profits. When they start taking profits, new buyers will show up. You'll see a supply-demand imbalance. Then the supply and demand will start to basically make price go into price discovery. Once that happens, then we can potentially look to add, depending on what price is doing, or sell. I would want to see a bullish monthly close before I would even think about getting involved with this. A bullish candle open somewhere down in here, close somewhere up in here. Then at a bare minimum, I could buy pullbacks down to wherever this candle closes, right? Because I could then at least say on the near term, we have a potential trend reversal because of last month. Now, that doesn't mean that the trend will reverse or keep going up, but at least you could say then there was a trend reversal. Now we just need to see if the buyers show up and help the new trend out. So I could get long then. But as of right now, I can't do anything with this. I'm sorry. I mean, I wish I could. I wish there was something I could tell you. I'm sure you're getting really close to some like big levels or big averages. Like you said on the Ichimoku, you're already doing some cool stuff. You're not even oversold here on the weekly yet. Oh, it could go much lower. You're definitely under the 50, which does indicate to technical traders that it is a short. And it, so there's that. On the daily, you're worse. Yeah, on the daily, you're worse. You're worse. You blasted through the 200 daily EMA and the 200 simple. And neither one of those was able to stop price going lower. So now you're going to have, but you are massively overbought here. You see that? You are massively overbought. So maybe wait for a bullish daily divergence on this indicator first. That would be the first buy signal, if you will. Like a daily divergence, bullish divergence. That would bring demand in. That signal alone will bring demand in if this asset is a good value down here. If not, it'll keep going lower. But you need some kind of bullish signals to bring that demand in. You don't have any right now. You're literally in a downside continuation move. This is buying a falling knife. I wouldn't be involved in that at all. You missed the Euro USD analysis. Well, I gave it to you just a little bit ago. Hopefully you caught it then. I was listening to Kevin Warsh, which is the new Fed guy, talk last year, and he isn't really a hawk in terms of interest rates. He is a hawk in terms of QE. I know that. Yep, I know that. But he is known in name as a hawk. I'm not the only one that's called him a hawk. Other people have too. So yeah, Dove is somebody who is weak on interest rates as well as monetary policy. A hawk is someone who is firm on one or both, right? One or both. So you can be a hawk on monetary policy, but be a dove on interest rates. You're still going to be considered a hawk. He seems more like a free market play. He is a free market guy, and he likes Bitcoin. So that's good. Two good checks to buy him. I hope he's better than Powell was. Powell do nothing. Jerome do nothing. Powell, he was a good Fed chair as far as he was good at communicating things, but he was terrible in other aspects. Like back in 2017, he wanted to hike rates when the market was telling him he should be cutting rates. There's other times where he made questionable decisions, but I know nothing about being a Fed chair, so I'm not going to give the man shit. But hopefully this guy's better. Tank on the... Sorry. I'm trying to read your name, but I'll just call you Tank. Thank you. Great to be here. I'm glad you're here, my friend. Printer go burr with Warsh. It gets disconnected and beaten with bats off of space. There will be a new meme with him, hopefully. That will be funny. I love the internet, as they are very witty people. Very witty people on the internet. They make some really awesome memes. I love them. Can you explain support and resistance on your USD Euro chart? Euro USD. Support and resistance are objective price levels. So we view support as any high time frame candle, the closing price of the lowest bearish candle. That would be support. Because the way we look at it, until you close another monthly candle lower than that one, you have support. So you can have a wick through it, but it's the close that counts. So if I was looking for monthly support here on Euro, the monthly support, like in name, if I was calling for a specific line to be monthly support, right? The definition of my support is right here. 1.15374. Because prices up here, this is the lowest monthly bearish candle close. So that price is support until you get another monthly candle close under it. Because then that candle would become support. So on and so forth. Resistance is the opposite. So what I mean by that is this was the highest monthly close. So this is resistance. This is a breakout, so now this becomes new resistance. You see what I'm saying? It's the highest close. So this would be monthly resistance. However, the caveat would be this was also monthly resistance, so it could be getting formed or tested as old resistance, new support now. And it could. We'll see. Time will tell. But that is what support is and resistance is for us, definitionally. I don't think definitionally is a word, but I just made it up. As far as objective levels of support, objective levels of support is going to be January's low. Okay? So when January's candle opened and started to push down, objective support would have been December's low. So as long as price doesn't close under that, that is an objective support level. And not only did price not push below that, but that is exactly where we got long, because it is an objective support level. It's a market support, not a YouTube influencer or Twitter influencer support. We trade objective levels here. We don't look at subjectivity. If there's any subjectivity in my analysis, I'll quit doing videos. You won't see it. It won't happen. We analyze price objectively because it throws everything else out the window. We can tell you exactly what price is doing, or at least what it has done. And then that gives us a bias to help us make further decisions in the future of where to put the risk on at. That is trading in a nutshell. That is it. That is all there is to trading. Knowing what levels work best and when, those are going to be stuff that's going to be things that you learn over time if you subscribe to the channel, right? I answer every question, always. Every question, always. And I do, like, I have no problem. That's what I did the channel for, to teach people to look for the right things, look for the right trades in the right direction, and then your account will stop going down. You will have a good hit rate. So as you can see, Euro has been bullish for the last 3 months here, right? 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. And also, what also makes Euro bullish is the fact that January pulled back all the way to December's low and bounced at objective support, and then You got a bullish move off of that level, confirming support, objective support. So that's where we bought. It ain't only where we bought, it is also where everybody else bought. Because everybody else knows this stuff. I find more and more influencers are starting to say all this stuff now. It's funny that it took them so long to do it. I've been doing it for the last 5 years. But now I see more and more of them starting to go more. So more and more of your analysts are going on Twitter and YouTube are going to get better at being an influencer, or at least calling market direction a little better, because they have been shitty usually in the past, right? Most people that I have subscribed to my channel and most of my viewers that watch me are long-term viewers and long-term subscribers. So that's really all I need to do to back me up, back my own claim up. Sure, I've lost a lot of subscribers or people don't pay any attention to me. I don't get that many views on YouTube, but most of the people that listen to me they've been here and they're not going anywhere. So that right there is good enough for me. It backs up everything I say. Smash that subscribe button if you want to learn how to trade. At least I'll teach you how to trade a little bit better than what you already know. Or at least get you looking in the right direction. I don't want to be a bear on the euro just because the euro is taking out an all-time high. That is retail trader stuff. That's not what we do here. We trade the trend. We get in on the right trades when we should. Today's trade on Nvidia was so clear and obvious to me that I wanted to make damn sure that I told everybody about it before the market opened, because I felt that strongly about it. Now, every single day that I'm live, I won't have a trade set up that I feel that strongly about. The narrative was absolutely clear on that one. That was absolutely clear. And that's what happened. We sold it at the bell. And boom, there you go. That should be enough proof. Yeah, we liked it better yesterday. We put the trade on yesterday. I got stopped out of it. So I put it on again today because I didn't even know I got stopped out of it, to be honest with you. I didn't even look at it anymore. I woke up this morning and was like, what the hell? I saw this move. I was like, yeah, that's what we expected. Well, where's my trade? So I had to go back and look at what happened. This wick right here, literally just, it stopped me out and reversed. It was like, that was why it went up there, to get my stop only. But obviously that ain't true, right? That ain't what happened. That's just the way it looked. But yeah, we liked the trade better yesterday, because yesterday was actually testing the objective level. This will be Nvidia's yearly open for the rest of the year. That level will never change. And this level will make people do stuff. That's why objective analysis is the best analysis. We can look at it and see what the market's doing. I don't have to guess. Other analysts have to guess or rely on indicators to give you strength of trend and trend direction. I do not. I will tell you trend direction and strength of trend on any asset you want to look at. That doesn't mean every one of my trades will be right, but I can definitely give you the exact objective analysis of what an asset is doing. And I can teach you. It is very easily learned. OpenAI said they want venture outside of Nvidia for chips yesterday. Okay. So that news helped spawn our trade setup. It was great. Good stuff. Can you explain the lines you put on? Yeah, that's what I was just doing. Yeah, I can absolutely explain it. Yes, Trump said I need weak dollar on CNN. Yep. Trump does want a weak dollar for sure. I think fundamentals confuse the trader. I think so too. I think you need almost to have a college degree in economics to understand a lot of fundamental analysis. Here's what I got to say to fundamental analysis people, right? First, I respect their work. I appreciate their work. I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm not a fundamental analysis guy. So I appreciate their work. I respect their work. But with that being said, their work is no better than my work. Their work gives them a bias based on information they see and read. Therefore, they get their bias. I do the same thing. I do the exact same thing. So the only thing that separates a macro analyst versus a technical analyst is education, or, you know, how they learned first. Because most people are tribal in the sense that if they have a small backdrop in economics, then they're probably going to move more towards the macro bunch, right? The macro group. Whereas you got people that don't want to know anything about economics. They just want to look for trade setups. They go more towards the technical side. Both sides are equally good. Both sides have the exact same probabilities associated with a trade setup or an investment decision. By me getting long Nvidia, okay, for instance, me getting short Nvidia because it's weak on the year, gauged by price and price alone, is no different than a macro analyst getting weak or getting short Nvidia because he knew this deal was going to fall out. We both had the same probabilities. We just come to the decision differently. So whenever you see people bad-mouthing one another, technical guys bad-mouthing macro guys and vice versa, macro guys bad-mouthing technical guys, it's because neither one of them can do what the other one does, and both of them are jealous. And they're acting like children. No trading strategy on the face of planet Earth has any better of a chance of succeeding than technical analysis. Technical analysis is obviously good. It creates these feedback loops. People are putting on trades. Therefore, like people like us will be able to identify what they're doing based on what the chart is telling us, right? So you don't need to learn or have a degree or a PhD in economics to be an investor / trader. You can do it yourself. You don't need to pay someone to do it. It's a myth. It's an absolute myth. All right, you come daily live at the New York Open every Tuesday and Thursday. I have a Patreon set up for donations and stuff like that for people that like my work. So in the Patreon, there's a thing that if you pay a high amount of money, like every month, you get access to a Discord server. I do live streams every single day for those people. I do live streams for the public every Tuesday and Thursday. But yeah, I'm live every day. But if you're just a sub or just, someone who don't want to pay someone else to learn how to trade, just show up here every Tuesday morning at 9 and every Thursday morning at 9, and I will teach you all that I know. And then you, with risk mitigation and other things that you learn throughout the time, will be able to take that knowledge and operate inside the markets. Your time frame will obviously dictate the way you trade, but these principles and the things that you're going to learn will be good no matter what asset you're trading and no matter what time frame you're operating on. And if you do what I say, you will see good results eventually. Maybe not at first, because at first, obviously things aren't going to look as clear as they do to me, but eventually you will look at the markets and analyze them the exact same way that I do. So when you see me call good trades, you'll be able to do that. It's when I call bad trades and I lose money, that's the only thing that separates me from a losing trader. I don't lose as much as they do when they're wrong. I lose less. I make more when I'm right than I lose when I'm wrong. So I can have a 50-50 hit rate and make money. That's the only thing that separates me from another trader. Not my ability to predict price action. Nobody can do that. Nobody can. It's too chaotic and emotional. Yep. You're in a good spot if you want to learn how to operate in the markets. We buy dips, 76. I don't know what that means. BitGet got it too. Yeah. The thing about BitGet is they quit taking U.S. citizens back in when Joe Biden was running the country. No, BitGet won't allow U.S. citizens to trade. That's it. I'm not saying that Weeks is better than BitGet. Weeks will accept you if you are a U.S. citizen. They don't even care where you're from. All you need is an email and a thing. BitGet, I used to be with BitGet. When BitGet was new, me and BitGet had a thing where we worked with each other. They are the ones that said we are no longer going to accept U.S. citizens. So we're not going to cancel all of your members, but we are going to cancel them if they are in the U.S. So I had to tell my community, if you're in the U.S. and you run on BitGet, it was a freaking disaster. I had people emailing me and DMing me for weeks. Then someone named, I'm not going to give you his name, but he showed up and he's like, hey, we will take you as citizens if you want to trade. We have no KYC over here. It was a new company. I took a risk on them. Now they're not so small anymore. Now they're huge. And, they're not as big as BitGet and Binance and all the other people, but none of those people will take U.S. citizens. They might now, but they didn't. When the shit got heavy and hot, they ran like little bitches. Weeks didn't. They stood by and said, if you want to put money on our exchange, we will let you trade. We don't give a damn where you're from. So I stuck with Weeks. Have no problem with BitGet, other than they ran like bitches from the U.S. I would have too if I was running a business. Joe Biden scared me too. Anyways, Bitcoin opening up its 4-hour candle. Just started, started taking a dump. There it goes. So it lost daily support. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Yeah, like I said, it's a very risky buy. If you buy it, it's in a downtrend. It's literally making fresh lows almost on a daily basis. So you should be aiming for lows, not highs. Even when it does have a good strong up day, that doesn't mean the trend is over. Trying to buy Bitcoin right now is dangerous. But long term, I think it'll be more expensive than it is today. We'll wait for it to bottom out. Once we start getting bottoming out signals like divergences or whatnot on the higher time frame charts, then we'll start to apply longs, but they will be small, right? They'll be building a position more than just diving in head first. But yeah, it's weak. Powell is the most bullish Fed chair for assets since Alan Greenspan. I think I can agree with that statement. Yeah. Thank you, Wes, for dropping that link. I appreciate it. Netflix hit bottom. It's pretty close. It's damn near got to monthly support. I didn't anticipate that happening today. I was like looking for like 182. If we got down to 182, I'd have been happy. Anything else is just icing on the cake. Yeah, it was a good scalpity scalp. Now we need to see if this produces more sellers in the future, as you are getting closer and closer to making a fresh yearly low. And that's after, mind you, making a fresh yearly high. That is not a bullish signal. When an asset goes from making fresh highs to straight making fresh lows, that is a bearish signal. This thing is literally 1 day away from making fresh yearly lows. If I was a long back here, think about it in terms of a big money investor, right? Say you run $80 billion in your fund. All right. It's a fantastic little dream we have here, but imagine it, right? For instance, you're a long at the yearly low. because you think, whatever reason, your analysis tells you that it's probably done making lows. So you're going to start buying on the lows. Boom, 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 and boom. And then price starts to go away and you're like, okay, perfect, good. All right, now we can just sit back and watch NVIDIA make money all year long, baby. You're happy, everything's working out every day. You know, you're trending up. You spend a little time here at the yearly open. You're not worried about it. You're not concerned because you know it's going to break out. It does. It breaks out and then boom, makes a fresh year high. You are living up on large, ain't you? You're like, man, I'm so good at this shit. I should have done this years ago. You feel me? You'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so good. I'm too good at this. Like you be so jacked. And then 2 days later, boom, boom. That's probably going to force a lot of big people to be like, well, I was good 2 days ago. Now, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to bail on this, man. This looks really weak. You know what I mean? Yeah, these levels make people do things. I know I'd be upset because you're probably in the red now and you were just up nicely on the year 2 days ago. Hence the reason why we attacked it today. That's why we knew that. We knew that that was a possibility and we were hoping for it and it worked. It's almost like I wrote it up out of a book myself. I didn't know it was going to happen, obviously. If it would have kept going up, I would have been stopped out. Again, that's what I do. That's it. I make educated guesses. Yeah, it's probably getting close to the low. You can actually get an indicator to tell you about what an average daily range is. It's right here. It's called the ATR, the average true range. It gives you an average on a look back period. So if we pull the average true range up right here, it's down here. So it's telling us that the 14-day trailing daily average on NVIDIA is about $5, 30 cents on an average. So like every average day is about $5, right? So that tells us if we look at where NVIDIA opened today, if it's more than 5, it's a little bit more than 5. It's actually $7.29, but just go to $5. That is your trailing average. That literally means anybody that got short today, once you hit this level, they started scaling out of their trades. Hence the reason why you're seeing buying pressure show up now, right? Yep. That's probably going to be close to the low. It might not be the exact low of day, but it's going to be close to that unless some more negativity comes out that sparks another wave of selling. Then you could see a bigger move lower, but this is probably pretty close. That's all I was looking for. So I'm good with it. I'm more than good with it. Now that you have a fresh new breakdown and you're so damn close to that yearly low, you could see more selling pressure show up today. It could go lower, but the move we wanted, we've already gotten it. So you should be taking profits on it. Moving your stop to break even, and then if it does break down and keeps going and going and going, you'll just make more and more and more money as time goes on. You won't even be sweating your stop loss. That's the way we like to position ourselves. Get in at good areas and then let price do it for us. All right. I'm only here for the barbecue sauce and tacos. Love it. I love barbecue tacos. I've never had a barbecue taco. I like barbecue sauce and I like tacos. Sure, it could work. Accumulate NVIDIA for Feb 25. We are technical. I don't know. It might hold. We'll know more in the future. I think NVIDIA has a good business model, right? NVIDIA is like the world's biggest company that actually don't really do much. They make a lot of money. They have a lot of clients. They do a lot. They design chips, but they don't actually make them and they don't actually hold any inventory. Think about that for a second. Nvidia really ain't doing much. Like, someone tells Nvidia, hey, I want you to design me a chip that does such and such, and Nvidia goes and does it. They do have what they do have is they have geniuses that work for them, and they're constantly innovating new chips. That's what makes Nvidia the most valuable company alive right now. They have a very good R&D, research and development team, and they continue to invent new chips, and then they line up buyers for those new chips, but they don't actually do anything. TSMC cuts the chips, makes the chips, and then sends the chips, and Nvidia receives a check. It's a fantastic business model. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But Nvidia, there could be problems too. Like Nvidia could be priced out of the market. I don't see anybody else doing it right now, but it is something that could be done, right? Depending on how good the AI gets. It's funny that Nvidia's valuations are so high at the beginning of AI. I'd like to see where they are at the end of it. Because other companies are probably going to be able to design and invent their own chips, right? They won't need Nvidia to do it. I'm not saying Nvidia is going up or down. I'm just joking. I'm making a joke. I'm just saying they don't really do much for their valuation, if you get what I'm saying. Joe Biden running the country or the auto pen? I don't know. That's a good question. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. It seems like most people have left. I'm not gonna be doing any more trades today. I don't think Aussie yen or Aussie dollar is where we want it yet, and euro dollar might not be where we want it yet. So these will be trades that we will be focusing on tomorrow and Thursday, most likely. And as far as that goes, in the crypto world, hype, it did what I said. It kept dropping. So you never did really see that bullish momentum show back up at the New York session. We were thinking about getting long here if it held support. It did not. It continued to break down, and then it started to trend. Now, your opening price on this daily range is here. So what that means is, yeah, as of right now, this looks like a failed breakout. So there might be a trade on hype dollar, not right now, but tomorrow or the next day. Absolutely. This looks like exhaustion to me. All right. But time will tell. You're testing the midpoint of the weekly range. This is a perfect area to find support. So if we get rid of everything else, well, not that. We want to get rid of everything that ain't objective. And let's put that fib back on real quick. So right here, you're retesting the midpoint of the week. Right now, right here. 33.988. If this starts making lower lows and lower closes below that, this will look like a rejection and a failure, and it will also smell like exhaustion. And we will be interested in shorting this. We're just going to miss the first short. But here's the thing. I don't really have a short side bias on it while it's trading here. Because it could absolutely rip again. But if the weakness persists, then we can look for shorts later on. All right. So this one we'll be watching. Euro dollar, Aussie dollar, both those we'll be watching. And any stock setups that I do find, we'll be watching. So we had a long bias on Tesla yesterday. We didn't really look at Tesla that much today. We had a long bias on it yesterday based on what it did. All right. If I seen what today has done, I would still have that long side bias on Tesla. Okay. It hasn't done anything to basically tell me that the buyers aren't here. In fact, we wanted to be buyers on it yesterday down here. We did. We just We didn't even look at it till it was over here. Well, we bought it then. And you can see what Tesla did yesterday. Tesla did do good for us yesterday. And I would have taken profits on this move, and I would still be holding the long today for any upside continuation that it wants to give. If it comes back down and stops me out, I really don't care. I already made my money on this trade. We'll see what happens with it. Moving. Oh, wait. No, I'm not even in it anymore. I just closed the whole trade yesterday up at highs. Sorry, I forgot about that. But anyways, we still have a bullish bias on Tesla for now. For now. It could definitely find resistance here. So this is the line to beat for Tesla. But Tesla is very mixed right here, right? It's a mixed bag. Last month was a pullback. And it was a little bit weaker than we wanted to see it be. So right now on the year, Tesla's bearish. So the yearly range is bearish. But we want to see if this is going to be a low. If it isn't, we'll be looking for a retest down here at 384 on Tesla. So if Tesla fails as a breakout above 430, we might have a bearish bias on it. Right here is going to be that line in the sand for us. Okay. So it's got to be able to build in higher highs and higher lows from 421.29. Or if it breaks back under 421.29, we'll probably have a bearish bias on it. Because the yearly trend is bearish. There's your yearly trend. It's definitely a descending channel. Right? Looking at only that data, it is bearish. It is in a downtrend. You are making lower highs, lower lows. It's a very weak downtrend. It's in price discovery still. So Tesla ain't a trade today. It's if you got long yesterday, hold it. Just make sure your stop's mitigated at 414.62, because if it breaks down through there, it could cut loose. You could get a measured move on Tesla down to like 385 if it breaks down through here. So this right here is the objective support level that it needs to hold. It actually, in my opinion, needs to hold right here if it's going to remain range bound. It is range bound. But if I smell like it smells very weak here. I need to see a breakout above December, or at least here, right? January is open. If it gets above that, I'll keep my bullish bias up to the yearly open. That will be the profit taking target. Like secondary, tertiary targets up here. Right now, it doesn't look good. Now, if you think Tesla's going much higher, this could still be a buying op. Risk markets have pulled back almost the entire range of yesterday. This doesn't look good for risk markets. So that makes me a little bit wary on Tesla, right? Because Tesla will get flows from this thing. If you got heavy bias or a heavy bearish bias in the risk markets, Tesla could suffer from those negative flows. And Tesla is already bearish on the year. So Tesla's got a lot to prove for 2026. It could be putting in the yearly low. So we're not going to hate on Tesla just yet. But we have to approach this thing objectively. And objectively right now, it is bearish. All right, and with that, I'll leave you. So that way we have something to look forward to Thursday, I guess. Well, obviously tomorrow for the Discord. And then Thursday, we'll be back to the public live stream. And we'll look for more opportunities. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you got any value out of today's stream, if you don't mind, could you smash that like button? We're trying to tell the YouTube algorithm that there is alpha here on this channel regardless, right? We want to save as many people as we can so they don't blow their accounts apart anymore. We're going to do our best to help them. Smash that like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys Thursday morning. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy